A night in with Mauler and the drinker, getting trashed with the web screen dictors. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop off the cork, have a glass of wine, that feels safe, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but pour me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, Mauler and the critical drinker.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave that animation of us just going like this all night.
Oh, we look so happy.
God damn, yeah. Whatever happened to us? Yeah.
It all went wrong.
We were so young and happy and optimistic when we started this, and then we've become husks of men.
Well, I mean, there's always alcohol, so.
That is true, yeah. Cheers, everyone. Thank you. But welcome, everyone, to Open Bar number 71. So, wow, it's been quite the week in entertainment. Where do we even begin? I guess there's the Panderverse, which has triggered a little bit of a firestorm online. Gina Carano has been dropping absolute nukes on Kathleen Kennedy. The Variety have somehow turned against their Disney corporate overlords and delivered a lot of very interesting insights into the state of Marvel right now, which kind of just, well, backs up everything we've been saying for the past couple of years. So there's a lot to talk about, I think, and we should get right into it, I guess.
Guess we could grab some people to help us out, though.
I think we should, yeah. Let's bring some of our guests in. Making his return to the Open Bar. It's been a couple of months since we've had him on, but it is Jedi Brooks. Welcome back, my friend. It's good to have you back on the bar.
Thanks for having me back.
No, it's good to have you, man.
Yeah, can't wait to break down this crazy Panderverse shit. I can't believe what I just watched.
Oh God, yeah.
Can't believe it.
It was awesome stuff. But yeah, looking forward to getting into it. Next up, we've got Endymion. Again, it's your second time on the bar, I think, man. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's been about a month so far. Yeah. It's been great. It's been awesome.
Good to have you back, man. Thanks for doing this.
It's all good.
And this is probably his 20th appearance on Open Bar, I think, at this point. It's Az from Heel versus Babyface. Welcome, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
It's good to have you back, mate. It's been a while.
It's been a little bit, hasn't it? Been a little bit.
Well, I know you're busy. You're busy working out these days. I'm glad you've given us an hour or two of your time.
Well, you know, we had to move some stuff around, but we got there.
Yeah. No, honestly, mate, massive respect for what you're doing. I think you're doing fantastic with all of this. I can see how much work you're putting in, and you're getting the results, so it's awesome to see.
For anyone who doesn't know,
How long has it been?
Swole.
How long has it been? Like routine.
I've been doing the gymming has been, believe it or not, it's only been about 4 months.
Good.
I think just coming into 4 months of, pretty much 4 to 5 times a week with the gym. The food side's been going for a bit longer, about 6 months with the food side. But I'm down 90 pounds.
Dude,
90.
90
That's incredible.
pounds, yeah.
That's incredible.
That's great.
Staying consistent for like 4 days is an accomplishment. So getting 4 months in, like legit, good for you. That's
great. Yeah.
You just got to deal with the soreness, you know. It's getting used to that because it's so tempting when you get sore to go, wow, give it a couple of days rest, and then you just got to get used to it. Move whatever you're working on. Monday, back and buys. Tuesday, chest and tries. Wednesday, yesterday was legs, so I'm walking like
oh god,
yep, you're waddling.
Logan Paul's missus, and then nothing to do with him. She's just a whore. And then today it's just full shoulders today. So I'm going to be coming back with a beautiful.
How often do you get
pump.
massages? I get massages every single month when I work out. It helps with the muscles.
It depends what website I'm on.
Is there any good Thai places nearby?
Passing by.
I actually do live very close to a Thai massage parlor. I might just have to go for some,
I recommend it.
Exercise.
Yeah, relieve the tension and all that.
That's what I do. It works wonders. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, good to have you back on, man. Anyway, well, let's talk a little bit about what's been going on because, wow, it's been quite the week. I don't even know where to start with this. It's kind of a busy one. I suppose I should start by saying that South Park joining the Panderverse came out several days ago, and wow, the reaction was interesting. It really seems to have ignited a bit of a firestorm online, and I suppose rightly so because it's tackled a lot of stuff that's been bubbling away for a long time. And man, it just kind of feels like now it's made it safe to mock this stuff. It's become a mainstream conversation now, and when you get something as well established and well known as South Park just openly mocking Disney and their ridiculous pandering and really going after Kathleen Kennedy as well. I think they were a bit softer at times than they could have been, but overall, it made the point and it made it pretty effectively.
I think it's funny too that they went after just multiverse as writing.
Oh yeah, they went after everything they could slip in. Miles Morales, and I'm really glad you said that. Like, just the fact that they waited till it was safe. That was like my very first impression, or like my overall impression of like, why now? This was like a couple years late on this. They definitely waited till it was safe.
They went too easy on Bob Iger too.
Oh yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
you got to pass.
He was essentially just not a character in it, and like he was all kind of on her.
The real harbinger of destruction. You can say Kathleen Kennedy, sure, but it's really Bob Iger's fault. If you really think about it, like even once we even get rid of Bob Iger, allegedly he's supposed to leave in 2026. That's when his CEO thing ends. Even then, whatever he signs off on, it's going to be another 2 to 3 years at least of whatever he signs off on. So it's still going to be horrible for a while.
Yeah, I think the only reasonable or the only possible outlet for this would be like Nelson Peltz and is it Ike Perlmutter who have joined forces to try and buy, essentially just through like sheer like owning of shares to force a seat on the board and
that
trying to
story's
change
crazy.
That way. It really is because they're coming back with a vengeance.
Ike Perlmutter he sold Marvel to Disney, and then he was the head of the studio of the entertainment side all the way till 2023 until about February, early March. Then they kick him out the door. He comes back with Nelson Peltz, and now they're basically trying to do a hostile takeover and take over the entire company from Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy. And they're both billionaires.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of really rich people fighting over what's left of Disney. But I mean, there's probably never been a better time to do it. Like when their share price is in the toilet, and the public perception of them is just dog shit at this point. And like the fact that South Park is openly mocking them, and that's just going to open the floodgates for other people to do it now because it is safe. It is safe to do.
They've made it safer by doing this at a safe time.
Yeah,
they've opened up the floodgates now. A lot of people who were thinking about it are going to pull the trigger on it now.
Well, there's a lot of people out there who'd say that there's absolutely no evidence or examples or formulas or patterns of anything going on that could resemble this stuff about for example, an obsession with bringing in female characters. It's like South Park fucking made a full-on episode about it. You can't ignore that elephant in the room anymore.
I love like it's when they go into like Universe 216, it's like it goes to Cartman goes to find Butters, and like Butters like this, like his dad comes in, but it's a woman, and he still calls him Dad.
Hi, Dad. But I thought it's very coincidental that the South Park episode comes out, and then a couple of days later, the Variety article drops, and I think the South Park episode went soft. And when it went, I think considering how scathing Trey and Matt can be, I thought it's very soft. But regardless of that, stick a chick in it and make a layman gay.
Yeah,
is now just become the war cry.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
You look at Disney, The Acolyte coming out. What's The Acolyte? Oh, it's stick a chick in it and literally make a layman gay.
Yep.
You look at Alan Wake that's just come out. Saga Anderson, race change. Saga Anderson. Why? Don't know. She's got to walk around with a Scandinavian knitted sweater to say, hey, look, I'm actually from Scandinavia, because that white blonde chick that I was a few years ago, I'm no longer. It's just, and then you can go on with them, all the Disney product, Phase 4, Phase 5, Eternals, everything. So that stick a chick in it and make a layman gay has just become like the epitome of current Western entertainment. Yeah.
It was safe, but it was
used in so many YouTube videos.
I agree with Az that they went soft, but they went soft on both ends, I think.
I think they went soft on both ends. I mean, I don't want to get into any trouble here, so I won't mention names of channels, but there are some channels out there that are just feeding on bullshit. Just absolute feeding on bullshit, and all they do is just churn out fucking bullshit. And there's a lot of people online that, I mean, my mate, I was in a car with him when we were heading to the gym the other day, and he's just like, oh, Kathleen Kennedy's come out with a statement, issued a statement saying that she's going to double down on all. It's like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I saw it. Oh, fuck it. I'm going to mention the channel. Yeah, I saw it on Mike Zero's channel. And I was just
I knew it. I was waiting for you to say it.
There it is.
You do not have to worry about getting in trouble here. Like, you can slide.
I was like, is he going to say it? Is he going to say it? Oh,
you can slide off Mike Zero as much as you
Still
want.
doing that shit.
That channel is just fucking sludge.
I know. I was just like, dude, the guy's a fucking clown. He's a clown. He's been a clown for years. But my mate's a normie. You know, he's not involved in any of the cultural business. He doesn't keep up with any of this. You know, he'll just go and see your film and he'll say, this was shit, or this was that, why is all this done? But when it comes to like the YouTube side, there's a lot of normies out there that'll just go, oh, I heard this, is this true? And
he never has any sources. I didn't want to start anything either.
His source.
His source will be a Reddit thread that he fucking created.
Yes.
Normies don't care to do the research.
I remember before Panderverse happened, he had a video. I watched it, had tons of views, and he's saying, "Oh, Disney's having a meeting with Paramount over South Park." And I go on Google, I'm looking it up. No one's talking about it. Not even bounding into comics. Nobody. I'm like, where are you getting this from? Like at least you could just say. You could just say, like, my sources told me, at the very least, like something. But he's just like, yeah, this is happening, guys. Believe me.
As I understand it, like the channel is just unashamedly, we're farming the algorithm here.
Yes.
And it's like probably 90% of what he produces is the same boilerplate content with as many keywords in it as possible. Like he'll just say Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, fucking Brie Larson, whatever. Like just words that are popular right now. And it's like, that's it. Like, and then there'll be like 10% of like original content that's just made up bullshit rumors that he probably fabricated himself. And that's it. Like, churn out 5 videos a day, farm the algorithm, collect your paycheck.
Yeah.
Just
okay, fine.
No art, no passion, just abusing the system. Like, it's just a gross channel.
I just feel like things like that make our channels look worse. And it makes sense. Maybe you kind of get lumped in with them. Like, oh, look, they're just spreading disinformation. But it's like, everyone here, when we talk about stuff, it's like this article is from, and then you say the article. This is the name of the title. You can Google it. Like it's actual things.
Yeah, references.
Like I could like if I made a video like Mike Zero, I could just say like, oh, Rachel Zegler roundhouse kicked a child. Believe me, and you just have to believe me. You know, and it's just like
sources.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It happened.
He's just released that video.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. See,
and he's released the second one.
He's quoting you as his source.
He's appealing to like impulsive people that want to react to these type of things, and they don't care about information or facts or anything. That's why references is so important.
And as Az says, he also appeals to normies, people who've got no like understanding of the YouTube world. They just want some kind of information about this person. And probably his videos will come up just by sheer weight of numbers, like because he produces so much content.
Yeah,
it's an interesting way of making a living, I suppose.
But
I was
did you
say
notice? Oh, sorry. Go ahead first. I'll say after. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say as well, like because we talked a little bit about how Panderverse deals with one, Disney's side of things, but also it does kind of tackle like the YouTube online space and people complaining about Disney and stuff. But it does go relatively soft on them, which I think is fair enough. Like, they probably could have skewered people in that position quite a bit.
I think the problem if you go too hard with, let's say, that side, then you're almost sort of forgiving the Disney side.
Yeah.
The other side wouldn't exist without what's going on the other side. Now, yeah, sure. But reactionary content has existed since YouTube's begun. And reactionary content has been here before YouTube, before the internet. There was the letters pages. People were writing in with letters. They're saying the same things that we say now. It's just that technology is advanced, that we can say it and it gets to more people very quickly indeed. and of course more eyes on the internet all over the world. Whereas before it was more contained and condensed, but it's existed throughout. If you go hard on the reactionary side, then you forgive what's going on. If Disney wasn't producing the cut, look, nobody was having an issue with the MCU in phase 1 and 2, and for the majority of 3. It was good stuff. A lot of us, would just praise. So maybe Ant-Man wasn't for me, or Doctor Strange wasn't necessary for me, or whatever. But the big beats were really kind of hitting. Remember when Age of Ultron got a little bit of criticism because it wasn't as good as the Avengers? And you look at Age of Ultron now, comparative to the stuff that we've had from Marvel, and it comes across as a freaking masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we had things like, the Winter Soldier, the Civil War. These were Infinity War. I thought exceptional films. There were some very happy people. But Disney Marvel, they decided in phase 4 onwards that they were going to do exactly what failed in the comics, all new, all Marvel. And it failed miserably in the comics. And for some reason, they thought we're just going to put it onto the screen and the normies will lap it up. Guess what? Even the normies are just like, no, this is not what we want.
So what do you think they should do to fix it?
What
would you do?
We'll definitely get onto the Marvel stuff shortly, because there's a lot that's come out about that in the past day or so. But I was just going to say as well, the Kathleen Kennedy, like the evil one coming through and stuff, like from the other universe. It's an interesting way that they tackled that, and it's an interesting point I guess they were trying to make, because I always interpreted that as like she's like the image of Kathleen Kennedy that people have created in their heads, like the monster who just wants to just destroy everything, and like her only thought process is, put a chick in it and make her gay. But is that then in response to like the way that people have built her up online? And like when you actually see the reality, or at least the one that South Park presents to us, she's just kind of a mundane executive who just doesn't know how to make good movies, and so just relies on the quick and easy option of the pandering in order to get films made, and ends up abusing it.
I found the weird Cartman Kennedy version to be South Park. That's South Park being really safe by saying it's almost as if like, oh, it wasn't Kathleen Kennedy that they made everything terrible. It was a multiverse version from some like insect planet thing, whatever the hell that was.
They're still trying to go ahead. Sorry.
It's just like it's kind of like they're it's almost like they were like trying to make fun of Disney, but then because they used that Cartman Kennedy Bizarro version, that was their way of sort of like being like, oh, we're kidding, Disney. Don't hate us. Don't sue us or anything. Like it's not really Kathleen Kennedy. I didn't really like that, but
that's it's a funny joke. Like almost every one part of it landed. Like it was hilarious. But at the back of my head, I'm like, this is a really effective way to shift the blame and create this entity that took over the real Kathleen Kennedy, rather than holding her accountable for the bullshit that she's done all these years. Yeah. And it's like when you really, I think this. As much as I enjoyed it, I think a lot of aspects of it are going to age poorly because of that, where it's like you had an opportunity to tell the truth here and you just kind of fucked around.
Well, I think ultimately, because they got that fundamental point across of you are pandering, you do this same process, you use this same formula in every movie, like just put a chick in it, make her gay. Like that's basically all the ideas that you have creatively. Good. I think, like regardless of whether you can say, well, they made a bit of a straw man in the evil Kathleen Kennedy, it's like they still have implanted that idea in people's minds, and now it's just become the thing. As I said before, it's the rallying cry for this kind of like counter argument.
That's why I'm saying it's safe, but still super effective.
If I can push back a little in favor of South Park, if we're being completely honest here, the reality is they would, when creating these films, for example, the dumb fucking Indiana Jones, they would have been like, she's a great character. Look, we gave her flaws in that she's selfish at times and that she needs to learn about this, that, and the other. And Indy's working with her in the film. We had a guest on EFAP who argued, hey, she didn't take over. She was with him in that movie and stuff. And it's like, so one could say that the real Kathleen Kennedy is like that scene where she's looking at the mail and she's like, oh, these sexists and racists, I'm going to put even more women and people of color into these films so that they'll come to understand like they're people too, or some stupid shit. And then like she's so incompetent and she can't. They basically said like she has no interest in creative aspects. She wants to create things fast and to appeal and to blah blah blah. The monster version is essentially a characterized like version of what we would try and skip to. Where like when I one of my favorite parts, the subtler jokes, some of the things that get me more, but when they're at City Walk and they're sitting down. And then it's usually a guy, but the girl City Walk guy's like, "Can I take your order, please?" And then cop just looks at her and goes,
Same with the police station when the chief walks over.
Well, it's like when he's in the school and he's just like
just
collapsed
broken.
in a chair, and it's like another lecture about, and it's an entirely like female auditorium, like it's all women, and it's like we're going to talk once more about like how women are excluded from society, and it's literally like nothing but women everywhere.
And so, like, I would even go as far as saying there's a good chance the story's not over and that they've stumbled on something, at least maybe accidentally, that
I'll be real,
we've
though.
talked about, that Kathleen Kennedy is not the be-all and end-all, right? Like, her decisions, her interests. If she was to disappear from Disney tomorrow, Disney's not going to become great again.
No, because she's created the team underneath her as well. So even if Kathleen Kennedy goes, her cabal remains, and it'll just be another member of the cabal that takes over.
I mean, I would go as far as saying you need a culling of the entire.
The entire story
needs gutting. It needs absolutely gutting.
The entire thought process, everybody there.
But I would sort of go with you, Drinker, to a point on Kathleen Kennedy, because I would be more open to that conversation had Gina Carano not absolutely wrecked her after this came out by explaining the processes that she had to go through when she was unceremoniously fired.
Yeah, well, on that subject, actually, because Gina Carano has been dropping bombs over the past couple of days, and I'm sure you guys have seen like the main tweet that got the most attention after this, but I will read it out for the people in the audience who haven't seen it. So, Gina Carano says, "This is the part where KK demands that any YouTubers get censored off of YouTube for sharing and laughing at this hilarious episode. She'll have YouTube disable the thumbs down option because of the ratio she'll receive. Then she'll have her publicist ghouls make sure Variety and Hollywood Reporter run hit pieces about South Park creators and their families, smearing their names through every useful idiot she has under her thumb who would sell their soul to work for Lucasfilm. She'll activate her online mob to repeat that the South Park creators are racist, bigot, transphobes, and demand the South Park creators publicly apologize by only using words that she approves of. And finally, she'll demand they subject themselves to a re-education course of 45 people in the LGBTQ community, Zoom call to sit there and listen to how badly they got their feelings hurt all over a little boop of a South Park episode. Wow. But maybe, just maybe, the jig is up." I mean, man, like, South Park were just kind of throwing sticks at her. Like, Gina Carano was just dropping nuclear bombs with that one. That is like 3 years of
pent up frustration.
Yeah, just all coming out. And I don't blame her for venting her anger.
Good timing, too. Like, she just nailed it. I
remember hearing that there was some podcast that tried to defend Kathleen Kennedy, and then Gina Carano just went in and told them, like, who are you going to believe? This random podcast that probably shills so they can get like access to some Disney Plus show, or me who's actually worked with her and seen her behind the scenes. And seen how insane she is. I remember recently too, I think it was Drunk 3PO said that there's a bunch of emails that were going to come out soon. Apparently, Drunk C3PO.
Never heard him.
I didn't think so. Ask now.
Yeah, he said that it was going to come out or something.
I mean, that's a very interesting prospect. I would be a bit concerned on her behalf. Like, I assume she knows what she's doing, but I also assume that when you sign up for a company like Disney, you sign like NDAs, you sign non-disparagement agreements, all that sort of thing. And to release internal emails like that would be opening up yourself to some pretty big lawsuits.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she's going to do it or someone else is going to do it.
No, apparently it's going to leak, allegedly. This is what I was reading about. I don't know if it's 100% true. I didn't make it up like Mike Zero. I read it online. But you know what I also noticed was really funny? The day Panderverse comes out, Disney releases 3 batches of info, all hitting different parts of their like empire, I guess, to sort of course correct. You notice that the day Panderverse comes out, Snow White comes out and shows us the CGI dwarves are going back to the original. Then Marvel shows the whole trailer with the Marvel saying, oh, it's attached to Endgame. This is the next Thanos. And then on the Star Wars side, they have another article that comes out the same day as Panderverse saying how like, oh, we want to bring back fun and joy to Star Wars movies. And Sean Levy, the Deadpool director.
Look,
and it's like
every fucking season of Star Trek Discovery, they put out this wank intersectional piece of shite. And then when everyone fucking just throws it in the trash, they say, the next season is going to be more like the Star Trek that you remember. And it comes out and it's doubled down on the intersectional shite. And then at the end of that season, they go, but the next season is going to be more like the fun sort of Star Trek that you remember. And it's just the same old fucking shite. Those people that are in the Snow White trailer are still in it. They're the bandits. They're not the Seattle Baristas. They're the bandit group. So there's the dwarves and there's also the bandit group. So they're still going to be in it. They're still going to have the stunning and brave bandits led by the prince, who's now completely effeminate. And no, you know, we're not going to have any of those shenanigans because Snow White needs to get into middle management, corporate middle management, get a foot on the ladder and show the patriarchy that a woman can succeed in business and don't need no man. So the garbage is still going to be the fucking same. It's just that they brought in more people, so probably so they could push back against the hideous CGI dwarves. But so don't expect any change. This is just absolute lip service. It's horseshit because they think people are stupid. They think people are dumb because there's a lot of normies out there that gobble this stuff up. So if they're hearing Disney say, "Don't worry, we're gonna course correct. We're gonna change this. We're gonna change that," actions speak louder than words. And we've heard this from Bob Iger before. Bob Iger has said before, we're going to course correct. We're going to do less. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Nothing changed. Nothing has changed at all. So don't expect anything to change. I'm absolutely convinced.
It won't. I know.
This is the hill Disney will die on. They'll get to a point where the stock goes down so much that the shareholders will seriously intervene. But that will be the only time that some action actually happens. They won't.
If you think about it, when Endgame came out, Disney was at an all-time high stock of around $200. Right now, it's at about $83.
Ooh,
it's really dipped below 80 before.
Yeah. Since last week it was below 80. Is it 78 last week?
Yeah, you can't hide these kind of numbers, man. Like it's getting to the point where every area of the company is just becoming an embarrassment. You know?
Well, I think as a shareholder, you could potentially like sue Bob Iger and the management team for a violation of their fiduciary responsibilities, because ultimately they have to act in the best interests of the shareholders. And if they fail to do that, if their decisions are provably against the best interests of the company financially, you can sue them as a shareholder. So that'd be an interesting thing
with other billionaires and buy the whole company. Like
exactly, yeah. But then guys like Nelson Peltz then have got really fertile ground to say to other members of the board, we are literally trying to save the company and save the billions of dollars that you guys have all got invested in this company. But because this guy who's currently running it clearly has lost it and he doesn't know what to do. And
Ike Perlmutter said he wanted one of his big things that kept getting rejected by the rest of the Disney board. He wanted to make the movies cost less and make them shorter. And they were like, no, we're not doing that, which is very interesting to me because like they're clearly over budget. Even the TV shows recently, they said an episode of She-Hulk is $25 million. That's more than the final season of Game of Thrones episodes budgets.
Yeah,
for She-Hulk.
That is crazy.
Where did the money go?
Wait. An episode of She-Hulk cost more than the first John Wick movie.
That's
where did the money go?
Consider that for a moment. What would you rather see?
Isn't that insane?
A 25-minute episode of She-Hulk, and that's being generous. Cost
25 with credits.
Yeah, it costs more than a 2-hour feature film with pretty substantial action scenes.
Well, John Wick 1 is 1 hour 39 minutes.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
It is concise as fuck. Well, the good news is the Marvels is a runtime of 88 minutes without credit.
Now, is that confirmed?
See it.
Is that? Do we know this for sure?
They have. I'm pretty sure they have released the full runtime, which is around 1 hour 40 odd minutes. That is including the end credits. So 88 minutes for the actual runtime of the film.
Can we talk about that end credit scene, or is that a spoiler? I guess.
No, go for it. No one cares about this movie.
No one cares. Just making sure.
Nobody cares. Yeah, fucking nobody cares.
allegedly it's that what's her face, Photon or Monica Rambeau, whatever they want to call her.
Yeah.
She ends up in like the Fox universe with Kelsey Grammer's Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? It's just nonsense.
That's what I heard.
Stay away from him.
That'll get the kids in.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
Like,
Oh, by the
they
way,
weren't
and
even
if-
alive when Kelsey Grammer was Beast.
Chat, I don't want you to leave this stream, but you might be compelled to do so when I tell you this. Do you know that there is currently running on the Marvel main channel a live stream which is advertising the upcoming Marvel show, and it's just cats. It's
Well, it's also
literally
unboxing.
cameras.
Seriously?
So
I'm looking it up.
cats.
Don't forget the unboxings; they're epic.
I mean,
What, you mean the Funko Pop?
Yeah, there was a Funko Pop. There was like a cat toy.
to be fair, with
Wow.
the focus on cats, they know who they're appealing to with the Marvels. I think that's their target audience.
Yeah,
Listen,
crazy cat ladies.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
I love
pretty much.
cats, love animals, but this is not the right approach, man. Like they're
No,
just-
it's
they're
appealing to
dropping the bag there.
middle-aged, piss-stinking, spinster cat ladies. You know, that huge demographic that love going to see Marvel movies.
It's-
There you go.
That's all it is.
That's it.
Just
That's
that.
it.
It was quite
I mean, to
sad
be fair,
too. Like,
I-
Just cats playing,
That's
I
it.
guess.
the
that's
view
it.
count and the engagement is fucking dead over there.
I know. This is an embarrassment. An absolute embarrassment. This isn't
Official
clever
Marvel channel.
marketing.
Yep.
This
Gotta
isn't
bring the fans in.
And this probably cost them a lot. It's probably
Yeah.
some dumb shit where they made a horrible deal. Like, and this cost like fucking 5 million or something. It's like, wait, how did it end up? And it's like, well, we put it together in a night. I don't know. They've got like a 360 cam that tries to lock onto like the cats in this room that's supposed to be in space, but it's got like shitty green screens. I was legit like, what is this?
God. What
Like,
the
this can't be
You know what's
official.
bad
It's like, it
when
is.
the director of the Marvels has already moved on to the next movie. She's
Yeah,
already
I
in
saw that.
the post-production. That's awful.
I'll get into that shortly, actually, because there's a slew of information that's come out about the MCU that's spawned a lot of chat. But when we were talking about budgets there, like as far as we know, the confirmed budget for the Marvels is sitting at over 270 million, which is insane when you consider how it
And
looks.
it'll
But
never
then,
come back.
no, they're not going
Not a
to.
chance.
And then the budget apparently for Snow White is 330 million.
Mm. They were there about
330, and that's before the reshoots, which are going to be happening because they are clearly going to reshoot a large chunk of this movie to try and salvage something out of it. So that's potentially going to add like tens of millions of dollars onto it as well.
Just to put it in perspective there, if Snow White's 300 whatever million, it needs to make at least 750 million
750.
Oh,
in
no,
order
way
to break
more than that.
even. And
Yeah,
Little
if
Mermaid
it
only
costs-
made 550 or something like that around there.
If this movie costs 330 million, say they don't go a penny over that, even right, when you factor in the cost of advertising and promotion
Yeah, that's the part
and
of
the
it.
distributors' fees, for 330, you're going to be looking close to $1 billion just to break even.
Yeah.
For that much money, for sure. It's
Yeah,
That is
ridiculous.
insane.
no problem. No,
I just why?
I
put
think
yourself in that position?
this film do lucky to do a 500 mil Snow White.
Yeah,
Lucky.
They won't even do
That'd
that.
be so
Yeah.
bad.
Well, there's so much negativity around it now. There's so much antagonism.
Well, the
You can
Empire
thank
is
Rachel
crumbling
Zegler for
apart.
that. You can thank
Like-
Rachel Zegler a lot for that.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Like if she hadn't given all those interviews, I think she has single-handedly wiped possibly 100 million off the box office for that movie, just
She-
from the sheer like dislike towards her.
she could have rode like the good like fanfare of the last girl who played Little Mermaid because everybody loved her. She could have kind of rode that wave, but and immediately she just screwed it up with her own personality. She couldn't keep her mouth
Well, the
shut.
girl who played Miss Marvel's been chill, right? Or is playing her.
Yeah.
No,
That's exactly
yeah.
it. Just chill. Nobody says a word about her. No, not one bad thing I've ever heard about that chick.
All
Right?
Rachel Zegler needed to say when people saw she was cast, she just had to say, "Give me a chance. I like the original." Even if she's lying,
Hey,
she could just say that. People would have been like, "Okay, we'll give you a chance." But she immediately just went,
You know that
the other way, and there you go.
you know that gif of fuck, I'm forgetting his name. The guy from Superbad, but also Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill.
You know the gif of him saying like "cut it out," where he puts his
Oh.
hand to his neck and he's like,
Yeah.
"Stop." You need that, but with Brie Larson to Rachel Ziegler. Like she's like, "No, no,
No, Brie
stop."
Larson's probably encouraging her. She's like, "Yeah, you're taking all the heat off me, man. Just carry
Oh,
on talking."
man. Yeah,
it just feels like Brie Lyd. That's how it comes across.
She's the best thing to ever happen to Brie Larson, for sure. Like this girl's.
Do you guys think that Captain Marvel will still be in the MCU after the Marvels? Like, I think the best thing they could do with her is make her have like an Iron Man death in Secret Wars or something. Because
I think the most you'll get is
the only thing you can do.
I really don't think Brie Larson's up for doing another solo movie.
That's what I was about to say. Is it
featured movie?
The character?
I don't care. Honestly, I don't give a fuck because there's nothing to care about with Star Wars or Marvel or Indiana Jones or anything coming out of Disney. There is nothing to care about.
None of us care about the story. We all care about the meta story now.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
This is just a giant slow motion train wreck.
We've tracked it for half a decade at this point, right? Like very seriously, seeing and noting all the ways it's fallen apart. Death by 1,000 cuts wouldn't cover it. It'd be like 1 billion cuts. Some very big cuts.
And most of them are self-inflicted. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
Almost all of them.
I mean, it's not like, if they'd listened to us, like everything would be golden, but we were pointing out just very obvious, logical, common sense problems with what they were doing.
They could have course correct.
So someone would be like, "Oh, it's very vain to assume you'd know better than a corporation that's filled with people who know how to do all it." And it's like, well, I mean, no, they like dying. I feel like I could get them in a place where they were making a bit more money at least.
They don't know what they're doing.
No, they don't.
These are people in corporate positions who don't know what they're doing because they're making ideological decisions instead of profitable decisions. And we've seen the leaked footage from inside of Disney. We've seen their meetings and when people are leaking those meetings, they are from people who are just like, please, can people get this out there? Can people get talking about this in an effort to get things changing? I'm sure there's a ton of people at Disney that want to make money, that want to make entertainment, and they're being stifled by this fucking executive cabal that is trying to push ideological decisions into everything. And it is everything. There is no fucking chill.
Even the video games they make that are based on their IPs.
You know what to tell him.
Constant nonsense.
Fucking delisted from Steam, right? The Avengers one recently.
Yeah, Avengers delisted. Spider-Man 2 is just like
even Gollum is listed still on Steam, guys.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. You lost a Gollum. Like, oh my god, what is happening?
Bad. Well, when we're talking about the MCU in particular, there was obviously a book that came out quite recently, and it's shed a lot of light on what's been going on behind the scenes. And a lot of the news outlets have picked it up, particularly Variety, that wrote a pretty scathing article about Marvel being in crisis just yesterday. And man, to see a mainstream outlet like this going so hard against Marvel, it's pretty remarkable stuff. And it just feels like everything has piled on this week. It's like everyone has just turned against Disney and Marvel and Lucasfilm. Like all of that entire side that used to be aligned with them is just it's gone now. I mean, the article of his, sorry, when you go,
it's well deserved. Like look what they're doing with Blade.
Oh yeah.
I mean, well, this is one of the things I was going to get into.
Crazy.
Yeah,
that pissed me off when I heard that.
Blade, it has gone through apparently 5 different writing teams, 2 directors, and it was shut down when they were just weeks away from going into production. You've got is it Marshala Ali, an Oscar-winning actor playing Blade, and then you find out that he was going to be
2 times,
4th build in his own movie. And actually, the main story was going to be driven by a bunch of female characters, obviously, because fucking what else could they do? They put a chick in it and make her gay and lame.
Every time. The passenger in his own movie.
Yeah. No wonder the guy fucking threatened to walk away. It's disgusting.
You're playing Blade. Blade is like, there's some characters that just have established their position and they need to be at the forefront.
Well, could you imagine if like the original Blade had come out back in '98 with like?
Wouldn't it be cool to have 3 girl blades though?
No, one of the original scripts for the Blade reboot was his daughter would be the main character.
Yeah,
and then he would be mentoring her. So right from the get go, he's already being sidelined like Mando and everything else. right from the get-go.
I was saying as well,
like a god at the end. It's stupid.
Because the original Blade back in 1998 kind of kicked off this modern era of superhero movies. It gets overlooked now because people think of like the X-Men movies or the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy back in the early 2000s, but that was really the one that started us off in this modern era.
It was the first profitable movie for Marvel. And
yes.
That's what kickstarted the opportunity for Spider-Man, X-Men, all those different things. But don't forget to mention like the DC movies, like Marvel, not superheroes, because people kick my ass for that all the time. I made that mistake.
That's fair, yeah. But yeah, imagine if that film had you had Wesley Snipes, who was like really at the peak of his career back then, and he was like 4th placed in his own movie, and he had a bunch of diverse female characters who were actually leading the charge. Like, what would the reaction have been in 1998 to that?
Confusing.
Marvel kind of already did
appealing
that,
to the wrong audience. Keep appealing. The problem is they think that they can stick out a trawler net and get all the fish, and they can't.
Doesn't work that way
because people have they have their own preferences, and something like Blade is very much particularly back in the 90s. That was a film that was targeted towards men, young men, teenagers through to 30s, 40s. That's who that was for, and it was ultra violent. And it had a shit ton of swearing. It was saying motherfucker and shit like that in it, for Christ's sake. Do you think that's what's going to happen in the Disney version? No. It's going to be sanitized. There's going to be no swearing. There's going to be little to zero blood, little to zero violence, gore. It's all, and of course, he isn't going to be allowed to be masculine and to be dominant in his own film. It's called Blade, but it's not. And a lot of the versions of the film that were being touted were actually about his daughter. It was all about his daughter, and this is just another Marvel thing. Yeah, when we got Blade for the guys, and then we'll put the daughter in for the girls and for the younger girls. And it doesn't work that way. That's why things are failing. You literally created a film, Eternals, because you knew that virtually nobody knew about the characters, so that you could diversify it. That was actually your plan for the Eternals. Feige said it himself. So who are you appealing to? Nobody. You're not appealing to anybody at all. You're literally just trying to wheel people out of different colors and different races and gone, look, aren't we ultra diverse? Aren't we so stunning and brave? You are the epitome of bigotry and racism and sexism and misogyny. You are the epitome of it, and you don't fucking see it. It's there right in front of your face. And then when they fail, whose fault is it? Yours, mine. It's all our fault because we didn't accept the stunning and brave superficiality. Think about it, like Civil War, particularly. Civil War had great depth of character all across the board, from Iron Man to Winter Soldier to Captain America to everyone else. The characterization in that film is freaking absolutely superb. And that's gone. And it's all been replaced by chicken it, make it gay.
This man speaks the truth.
Amazing. Every word of that I agree with. Seriously. I remember hearing somewhere that the Russos came to RDJ's place and they discussed some of the scenes for Civil War. Like he would give them their feedback in terms of like what he thinks Tony would say, and he just really understood the character. And like, where's that now? There's no way they're sitting down having those conversations where like people don't even know what's going on. They don't know what their own.
It's like, what's our thing now? It's like we're going to fight the 500th version of Kang. Who's just going to get immediately defeated, but it doesn't matter because there's an infinite number of Kangs that are just waiting in the wings to take over.
I don't know about you. Oh God, are you guys watching Loki? Like that? As soon as you say that word, I know me and Walter got like PTSD flashbacks.
Well, this is one of the cruxes of the article here, where they talk about the problems that they're facing with Jonathan Majors. Obviously, he's got his legal issues that he's going through right now, and he's going to court. And you know that like if he's found guilty, obviously they're going to drop him like a sack of shit. But even if he doesn't, the character's damaged anyway because he was completely fumbled right from the beginning. Kang is a terrible villain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, and it doesn't matter if he's acquitted or anything because like fundamentally he's playing a terrible character. The idea that you're going to have just antagonists split into a million pieces, and each tiny piece is like really easy to defeat, but it doesn't matter because there's an infinite number of other ones that you've got to come across. That's a terrible way of introducing a villain. And the fact that you brought him in for the first time on a TV show, on Loki, something that average cinema audiences will never watch and will never hear of, and you kill him instantly. Then you bring him in with Ant-Man Quantumania, and again, he gets defeated by Ant-Man, probably the most boring and weakest Avenger on the entire lineup. How are you going to build this guy up as an antagonist? He's a joke.
And he got killed again in the last episode of Loki. A third version of him got killed in last week's Loki.
Yeah, they've had 3 attempts at this character. They're all shit. Every single
It was
time.
really funny though. Did you see it as?
Yeah, I laughed my dick off.
It was supposed to be a dramatic scene.
I know.
It was just really funny.
I just laughed. It just came out.
He was spaghettified, and we were like,
Yeah, Wanda.
okay, bye.
Wanda was way over there on the off screen. You can see her just spaghettified him real quick.
I feel like for those who don't know context, why I'll be as quick as I can. They needed someone to do a sci-fi thing, and he offers to do it because he's a noble Kang, I guess, or something. He steps out of the door, and we expect he's on like a timer, but he just instantly dies. It's like a comedic beat. It's like you can do. Oh,
legit spaghettified.
But it makes no sense because they're all talking about He Who Remains, Kang, coming to fuck everything up, and we're all in trouble. I mean, I don't know what Kang's motivations are.
no, I
at all.
don't even know who that is.
But they are there with a Kang who is good.
Yeah.
So why are you assuming all the Kangs are bad?
Yeah.
Oh, it's wild. The show makes no fucking sense. Not that we expected it to. But what was even funnier is that after he got spaghettified, it was like 5-10 seconds or whatever, and then the loom exploded, and it was like, how was Kang ever going to be able to do that in time anyway?
Yeah, it made no sense.
He was dead anyway. It didn't matter.
I am so glad I'm not watching Loki season 2.
It's not even worth it. It's
because
so shit.
I
gonna wait till the
progressed to
final
that.
episode.
I progressed to that point now where I don't care. I don't care about any of these TV shows, so I'm not going to bother watching them.
It's strictly work at this point.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm prepared to invest a couple of hours, 88 minutes to watch the Marvels just for the lols.
It's
That's
practically
about the best
You
you're
gotta
going to get
stay
out of
for
me.
the end cutscenes, though. You gotta stay for the end credit scenes.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited
It's
to
like
see where this is going.
the MCU is a fucking comet, and we've taken pieces of rock from it into our lab, and we're like, oh, the new piece is arriving today. It's called the Marvels. Like, we're looking at what
Examining it.
cells in it. Like, oh shit, what happened here?
I just wanted to say real quick, Drinker, you've actually mentioned this like several times. I love this point. How Agent Smith was terrifying, like an all-time great villain in the first Matrix, and then they made a million of them in the second one, and he just lost all his entire mystique.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
and that's kind of the problem with Kang, where compared to Thanos, we had this one entity. We only got a little piece of him, and then he just kicked in the door with an incredible performance in Infinity War. Where Kang, you've spread him out to where he's lost his like overall mystique and value, and you've made each piece shit. So it's like, what are we gonna do with him? It's just he's such a waste of an opportunity for a villain. And I think Jonathan Majors is a pretty decent actor. He could have did something.
He definitely
He's
is,
good in
and I think
Creed
if you'd
3.
just gone for one Kang who was super intimidating and terrifying and just like could murder people on a whim, okay, great, like he can pull that off. But like he's limited by the script that he has to work with, and they're giving him nothing. They've turned the character, like I say, just into a joke.
Which out of the 3 Kangs do you think was the best version?
No.
Yeah,
that's the correct answer. But like,
yeah, none of them are good.
Oh, geez. Well, which one was at least like? You know what? I'll just
No.
forget that question.
No.
At least
What's wild is they want to replace him with Doctor Doom. Apparently, that was an idea. And that's a terrible idea.
How?
They're
Why?
At
they're
this point-
desperate at this point.
anything can happen. It is
They even want to bring
desperation.
back the Avengers to make another movie with the original Avengers, and I'm like, it's just desperation at this point. That's all it is.
That is, and I couldn't believe it when I saw this. But like Mauler and I, we've obviously talked about this before, and you straight up said the moment they say they're going to bring back Tony Stark, that's it. The MCU has officially died, and they
may as well announce it themselves at that point because it's just.
There's
and
a rumor out
that's-
right now that he's
that's
already
panic
agreed to
mode.
come back.
That's complete
That
panic.
Tony
mode.
Stark wants to come back already.
I mean, they would have to pay him a lot.
You
at
should
this
probably
point.
keep in mind. Do you remember the rumors for MOM? It was crazy. All the theories of who was going to be in it and what was going to happen. We're at a pretty big rumor mill, incentivized culture anyway. We're far away from the Avengers movie coming out. who knows what the fuck it'll end up as, and who knows what gets deleted and thrown on the cutting room floor when we finally get there. But yes, they're panicking, and they're probably. I mean, have you seen the one that's like Tobey Maguire is going to be one of the main characters or something? It was like, what?
Yeah,
I honestly think they would throw everything at it.
Yeah,
there was a rumor that Hugh
like,
Jackman's Wolverine will be the main character.
Well, so
and the thing
there's
is,
actually reason to believe this stuff. If they're planning the full reset, they may as well, while they have this window, throw anything and everything. And the thing is, if we found out the main characters would be Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and fucking Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man on a journey together through the multiverse, we would all be like, I gotta see that, whatever the fuck this is. Like, I gotta see this. Also, Iron Man's in it with Black Widow and several lawsuits, probably. I don't know. Like, this is gonna be all kinds of shit. It's gonna be insane if it's a double multiverse, and it'll be absolutely awful, obviously.
Their best case scenario right now is just to cancel everything, fast track the Secret Wars movie, and just reboot it all. And just start over.
Oh yeah,
I would honestly I think you're right in the sense that there's so much fat that they could trim off of this entire franchise, like starting with the TV shows. Kill all of the shitty Disney Plus TV shows.
Just delete them.
Nobody cares. They're not generating any revenue for you. If you've got something like She-Hulk, which is costing $25 million an episode. You're talking hundreds of millions of dollars for what? For something that's just become a lol cow. You know, that's insane. Honestly, you can't justify that. So kill all of that.
Remember,
stuff.
they canceled Daredevil Born Again already too. That was half shot already.
It was,
you can only imagine how bad that must have been.
Yeah, was them to cancel it.
There was times soon after the state of Star Wars. Like,
did you see She-Hulk?
Oh God, jeez!
Nobody should have seen that.
Just Daredevil season 1 is just top tier, like one of the best things Marvel's ever done, and like just follow the blueprint. Everyone we all agree.
You want to know why it's one of the best things ever done? Because Marvel didn't make it. That's why it's one of the best things ever done.
Yeah. No, when I say Marvel, I'm talking about Marvel as a whole. The MCU is another entity. You know what I mean? It's just and it's just sad because they had the correct approach that everybody agreed worked. That's the vision for Daredevil, and Disney is just gonna fuck it up.
It won't be though, because like we already saw what Disney's gonna do with Daredevil characters. Like you look, like here's the thing: you look at Kingpin in the Daredevil Netflix show. He's so scary that the first time Matt Murdock meets a thug and goes, "Tell me his name," what does a thug do? He literally impales himself on like a spike because he'd rather die than let someone know that he ratted out his name. Mm-hmm. The Kingpin in the Disney Plus show. In Hawkeye, Kate Bishop like launches him through a window, no repercussions, and then she just goes in and enjoys Christmas holidays with Hawkeye's family.
Most of the same.
It's just, it's so bad. You know what I mean? Like Kingpin in Netflix,
Daredevil could be She-Hulk's fuck toy.
Yeah, have to do the walk of shame home. Like, why do they do that in a mustard suit?
It's funny.
Ugh. Did she yell out the window? Laugh. You're the third guy I fucked in 4 episodes.
Yeah, seriously. This girl's just. Why did they take that approach?
Gets around.
Slip it in. That girl's.
That's
dirty.
for sure.
When Rise of Skywalker rolled out, it was like if you were taking over Star Wars, what would you do? It's like full reset, cut it all out, cut it dead, it's all gone, it's got to go. DC, when James Gunn's getting it's like if he's like half committed now, like not committed at all to resetting when it should have been a full reset, get it all out. But obviously, you can still bring back certain actors on a full reset, but Marvel's definitely at that point. If we had control, it'd be like full reset, wipe it all clean. You'd be like, whoa, we got some act like Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch. It's like, nope, get it all out of here, wash it all away, back to zero. And you just start simple, and it works for DC and Marvel, and it would work with Star Wars. Just single character, grounded hero. Could even start with Daredevil. That could be fun. And just follow the blueprint they set themselves in 2008. Up to 2012, but it's just never going to happen. We're not in that world anymore.
Street level, low stakes, keep it simple, no multiverse nonsense. Just
that should have been Phase 4. Instead, the way Phase 4 blasted it out into absolute insanity, multiverse, cosmic,
this
dimensions,
is
all that
just
shit.
Simple blip stories with actors we don't even know. That would have been way better.
This is what I tried to cover in my video that I just put out today, where it's like the human brain just really isn't designed to cope with this idea of infinite multiversal possibilities when it comes to just relating to characters and their relationships to each other. I can't get invested in someone like Kang because he doesn't exist as a character so much as he's just like a tidal wave of possibilities. that come at the heroes, and so there's no rivalry there. There's no personal connection between either of them because he doesn't exist in that sense, and so it doesn't work like any kind of normal antagonist. And it's the same with, well, it's the same with the idea of stakes. You know, like with Multiverse of Madness. Okay, the existence of the entirety of reality is at stake, and like, you know, I've just smashed two universes into each other, and they all blew up, and like everyone in it was killed. Like,
so cool though.
Yeah, like how does the human brain even comprehend something so like cosmically vast as that? It's like, give me two characters with a really detailed relationship and a rivalry and a reason for wanting to come into conflict.
Civil War.
Tony and fucking Cap fighting each other. It's just two people, two humans, no crazy superpowers. The fate of the entire universe isn't at stake. It's just two people fighting that you care about.
Bucky and Cap having a knife fight.
So it's a perfect example because it's actually like almost inverted the whole thing. Civil War comes across at first as a huge film. It's like, oh, we've got everybody in here, and it regards like world politics, and we've got an army of Winter Soldiers coming to destroy all the world governments. Oh my god! But it's like, no, the story is ultimately about two men and their dramatic disagreement at the core of their personalities.
Yes. So many people skip over that. Civil War is truly a grounded story. All that other stuff is just peripheral.
I discussed this yesterday with my on my show with Ripper, and where they should have gone after phase 3 is you had this huge galactic threat. So you needed to ground it, to bring it back down and ground it before you bring in Galactus and go back up to another galactic threat.
Take a break.
So the absolute no-brainer was when they announce it, you have phase 4, and then the phase fades away, and then Fantastic comes up, because that's how you launch phase 4 with the Fantastic Four. Is an absolute no-brainer. The first fucking family of Marvel, there, you have it. You bought them. And that's when you bring Doom, and it brings in Doctor Doom, and Doctor Doom to be the Earth-grounded, but absolutely, massive threat to everything which is going to happen in phase 4 onwards with the Fantastic Four. Introduces the Fantastic Four. You then introduce the X-Men. You bring in your big guns. What did we get? Fucking Black Widow, a character that was dead. And then we get Eternals because they wanted to two dudes kiss for literally less than a second. But we're going to put all the marketing behind diversity and gay kissing. Great. How did that work out for you? Oh, it lost money. Then we got Shang-Chi, who was, again, another film of a man in his own film, surrounded by women, who wasn't even the main character in his own film. His sister was better than him in everything. I watched him and learned and did it better because I'm a fucking Disney woman.
Is that how they did it?
Yep.
Yes. That's how they did it, yeah.
Yes. He gets led around in his own film. He doesn't do anything. Aquafina kills the big bad at the end. Anyway, fucking nonsense. Then we go Doctor fucking Strange that rode the wave of No Way Home. Massive opening weekend because of it worldwide. And then because it had a massive weekend, unfortunately, people actually saw the film. So this huge weekend starts to stall. And a film that should have blown over $1 billion falls short of $1 billion. Black Panther, a film that's 75 hours long and has fucking 10 minutes of Black Panther, female Black Panther at the end. It's absolutely atrocious. And I'll say to you, Drinker, Kang, I disagree with you, is the perfect villain for Marvel right now. Absolutely perfect. Because they are rudderless and directionless, and so is Kang as a character. So he fits absolutely perfectly into their ethos. Because it's just like, well, stick a Kang in it and make him lame.
Yep.
Stick a Kang in it and make him lame. We got Kangs for all over the fucking place. We've got a council of Kangs. Stick a Kang in it, make him lame. One Kang fails. It don't matter. We've got all the Kangs. Another one comes along. Another one. It just is absolutely perfect for Marvel right now. No idea where they're going.
To summarize that thought, I assume what you're saying is Kang is the perfect villain because it's quantity over quality.
It's quantity and directionless, that any Kang can be anything. There's no consistency with Kang, we don't even know what the Kang's motivations are. He's coming, right?
Isn't the Kang stories? He wants to kill the other Kangs to become like the Prime Kang or some BS.
Nobody fucking knows.
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
we already had the Prime Kang in Loki. See, he was the one who remains. He was the one who was able to.
Well, he's back.
Maintain. Yeah, well, of course he is, because no one's ever dead. But yeah, it's like he was there to maintain the Prime timeline because he was the Supreme Kang. But like he dies because he got bored and old or something. And now, like, all of the other Kangs in all the multiverses have been unleashed, and they're going to come back and take over. But again, there's no, as far as I know, there's no definitive Kang who's in charge of all the other ones. It's just a bunch of Kangs who all look increasingly goofy.
Oh, by the way,
no, it's a bunch of Kangs, all right, mate. Fucking hell.
Loki season 2 debuted 40% lower than season 1 according to Nielsen ratings. Huh?
Big surprise there.
You know, one of the most frustrating things about Loki is like Tom Hiddleston not only wasting his acting potential on the show, but he tries to make Kang out like this big threat, and it's just like, dude, he's already ruined. Like, stop.
Yeah,
you can't
knock him for trying.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
he's a professional.
All this, it's such a waste. He's still a pro. He's giving it his all, even though it's trash.
Tom Hiddleston's wife is the main villain in the Marvels.
Yeah,
bless her.
Oh, the grill chick.
The grill chick. Yeah.
The Thanos level threat that they say in the trailer.
With Loki,
just like, come on.
Genuinely, no one outside of a few YouTube reviewers is talking about that show. I don't know anyone who's watching it. It's just dead in the water. It's got no footprint whatsoever.
It looks like it was made with AI too.
Well, the
background in that show looks like it's made with AI.
We're watching it, and like we're all just baffled. There's a group of us there, and we still can't figure it out.
I just think sometimes, like, how demoralizing must it be now to work on a Marvel Disney Plus show?
Sucks. It's the end
like,
of your career.
just knowing that no one cares about this, no one who's involved in it cares in it, no one who's going to watch it is going to care about it. We are just going through the motions because we've got.
They didn't even have showrunners until recently, right? Remember that they were saying, "Oh, we didn't have any of those," because Marvel considered themselves as the showrunner. So they didn't even have people that were actually in charge of stuff.
Well, no one's in charge of any of these projects. Like, there's, again, this Variety article sheds a bit of light on things like She-Hulk and how they were made, and it explains here partly the VFX looked like dog shit, which we all know. They blamed Victoria Alonso for a lot of that said that she spread their resources too thin, and she was in charge of it, and screwed up, and she was apparently a nightmare to work for. A lot of people have now suggested she was a bit of a scapegoat, and the article even talks about that. It says that sources internally suggest she was a scapegoat and point to the She-Hulk VFX issues as a symptom of a much deeper rot, namely a lack of oversight on script development. In the original arc of She-Hulk, a flashback of star Tatiana Maslany's transformation into her Hulk character didn't take place until episode 8, which was the penultimate episode. But after Marvel's Brain Trust, and they didn't even put that in quotation marks, it's literally called the Brain Trust, watched the footage, they realized the scene needed to happen in the pilot so that audiences would see more of the character's backstory and understand what the fuck was even going on. So that meant the VFX team was tasked with fixing the entire mess in post-production. So they had to do all of that again.
Wow.
After the thing was made. And there's even a quote here saying, this so-called bad VFX was because of half-baked scripts. It wasn't Victoria, it was Kevin's responsibility, and it even went higher than him. These issues should have been addressed in pre-production. The timeline isn't allowing the Marvel executives to sit with the material. Everything's rushed. Everything's just shoved into production with the mindset that we can fix it in post. This is why it looks like shit, and this is why the scripts are shit.
You can't fix bad writing in post.
We're poised in this unique position of reading all of this, being like, "Yeah, we said that like years ago."
Yeah.
It's not even surprising, but it's like, I guess it's neat that it's official. That's always fun.
It doesn't matter what type of work that you do. You know, like the concept of post-production, like extra work, like creating issues that you have to go back and fix. And imagining that, like, on a company at this level still making those stupid little errors. It's crazy.
It's because a lot of things Marvel does, they fix it in post production. That's where the magic happens.
That whole mentality of
Allegedly
fixing post is what screws.
It's not
you
working
up.
anymore.
What are they fixing? They're not fixing shit.
Yeah.
Everything that's come out has been shit since the beginning of Phase 4. There's nothing to fix. You can't fix bad writing.
Mm-hmm.
You can cut it down and make it shorter, but you can't fix it.
No, it's rotten
It's
from
still
the core.
bad writing. She-Hulk was one of the. I mean, I am grateful for She-Hulk because it just shows what a bunch of fucking idiots can do when they've got no sense and too much money.
Mm-hmm.
And even we knew months ago. I did a video months before She-Hulk came out, where they were talking. People who were working on the show were just like, "It's gonna be a fucking disaster. This is, people are gonna see this and they're gonna be like, the fuck is this?" Well, or they're gonna go, "It's genius." No. They went, "The fuck is this?" There is too much bloat with Marvel. None of these Marvel shows are bringing in new subscribers on Disney Plus. We're seeing Disney Plus numbers go down and down, and I don't know how many of the existing numbers are free accounts anyway that you get when you buy, something or a mobile phone or this or that, because they're giving them away left, right, and center. So we don't even know who's paying for this. So every Disney show, in theory, is losing money. It's just a money write-off because it's not bringing in the subscribers to compensate. And then they're moving the money from the streaming service to buy the rights for their own fucking films to put on the Disney Plus, shifting the money, which they're currently being sued for, by the way, because it's essentially money laundering. They're just moving the money around. Nobody's invested in these shows. Nobody's invested in Hawkeye. Nobody's invested in WandaVision. It started off and fucking tapered down. Loki is the only show that got a season 2, and that's dropped off half.
Yeah, are you telling me that She-Hulk's not going to get a season 2? You lie, ass.
It's almost worth reminding everybody when you get season 2, oftentimes, as is normal, the viewership is increased because you're building a new season off of an old one that people like.
That's how it's supposed to work.
Guarantee
you House of the Dragon season 2 is going to have better numbers.
Oh, that'll increase.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. But here's the fundamental problem with the franchise that is Marvel now. It's reached that maturity phase of being a franchise where it's no longer growing. It's reached its maximum potential and it's now starting to decline. It's starting to contract because its audience is burned out and it's starting to move on to new things. And so all of these shows would have relied on it being a growing brand because, hey, you want to keep up to date with the latest events in the Marvel universe? Yeah. Okay, you're going to have to watch Loki season 2, or you're going to have to watch Agatha Harkness Coven of Chaos or whatever. But when you don't have that hook anymore, when you don't have a growing brand that's got new people coming in who want to get invested in this, you don't have that reason for people to tune into these shows because it is a big investment of time. And when they're not willing to make that investment, they are literally a waste of money. You just should stop making them because nobody cares and you're not going to bring in new subscribers by doing it. So it doesn't have any financial incentive.
Yeah, business. I think I remember reading that the only things that really drive sub growth on Disney Plus lately is their movies. Like Little Mermaid, for example, was a huge premiere for them on Disney Plus, but their actual TV shows and stuff, those just don't bring in money. They haven't. They're losing money like at a staggering pace, and it just comes down to the fact that they're screwing the golden goose that they have, and that's why they need to either reset it. There's really only a few ways Disney in general is going to go. Either Ike Perlmutter, Nelson Peltz somehow manage to hostile take over everything. 2, they get bought by Apple. Or 3, they actually course correct and make things better, which is very, very unlikely.
It's just an arrogant.
I was just the only way I can see this working. Sorry, we're talking over each other.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the only way I can see
job.
This potentially being salvaged is kill it all, take a break for a couple of years, lead with something like the Fantastic Four to kick off your new revised MCU. It's obviously a massive part of their legacy, and it's something that they haven't done. They haven't been able to fold that into the MCU. And then release movies on limited budgets. Like, get them down to like 100 million sort of level, because you're not going to do $1 billion movies now. The genre isn't like that anymore.
This business model's like not sustainable whatsoever. Expecting people to watch like 16 hours of content to understand
they are still acting like it's 2019.
No, it's crazy.
They're acting like it's 2019 and we can just slap the Marvel name on stuff and people like this movie will make $1 billion because it's so popular.
Because watching Marvel movies now is like homework.
That works. It was like
it's crazy.
Was like the lag in Hollywood? How many years is it? Like, basically, what we're seeing right now is a result of cultural sort of values and aspects and assumptions and intelligence of. Is it 2 years ago? Because
I think it's 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4. Because it does feel like when we saw especially like Falcon the Winter Soldier, Black Widow,
God,
and Loki season 1, that like trifecta of just absolute horseshit. We were calling it back then. We were like, we're fucked. This is it. It's going down. Everything's falling apart. And it's taken this long. So that would have been what? Was it early 2020 that was all out by then?
No, it was out by 2021.
2021,
delayed. So 2021 was like 9 things in a row.
2 years to recognize, 2 years to course correct.
Yeah. Well, we're still in for
everything we're dealing with right now is what Bob Iger signed off on. And we're still dealing with it. So like I said, if he's going to be in power till 2026, we will probably be dealing with his decisions until like 2030. Like, this is literally going to be another decade of just Bob Iger decisions.
No, it's going to linger.
And it's just horrible. Everything. Every bad decision he signed off on. Someone has to look at it and go, yes, you can make this. Here's your money. I mean, and that person is Bob Iger.
I imagine you get to a certain stage of your life and your career, and you stop thinking about new challenges that I can take on and new endeavors that I can take on, and more about like, what's my legacy going to be? And I imagine for someone like Bob Iger in his 70s, probably Kathleen Kennedy as well, who's pushing 70, you really start to think like, I'm in this sort of end stage of my career and I want to be remembered well. And you have to think with both of them, it must be tough to watch this slipping away, that legacy.
Yeah.
Because ultimately with each month, because things are moving so quickly now, and there's so many disasters piling on top of each other, every month that they stay on in their jobs, they're tarnishing that legacy a little bit more, because it doesn't seem like either of them are going to contribute or are going to achieve anything positive from this point going forwards.
I remember Bob Iger saying he wants his legacy to be that he gets Apple to buy Disney. I remember reading that for about the last like 2 months at least.
What an accomplishment. It's like I sold my company to some other company that's bigger.
Yeah, wow. now it's their problem kind of thing.
That's his only goal. That's pretty sad.
I mean, if he had quit and actually left in 2020, when he stepped down and Chapek took over, if he had just left altogether and not come back, I think his legacy would have been pretty good. He would have been remembered as the guy who massively expanded Disney, who bought Marvel, who bought Star Wars, and left on a high.
Abandoned ship as it was burning.
Bob Chapek got screwed over because him and 2 other executives, I don't remember their names, but all 3 of them basically got exposed for faking the numbers for Disney Plus and how much it was making. They were trying to artificially inflate the numbers, and then they got ousted for it. And then he got fired at a Elton John concert or something.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that happened
at midnight.
He just got told. That's awful.
It's not awful. No, fuck Bob Chapek. Fuck Bob Iger. These people are fucking filth.
All the Bobs.
I don't give a fuck about them. Oh no, Bob fucking Chapek is going to have to retire with his hundreds of millions of dollars
dude.
that he's
I was waiting for Brooks to be like, hey, they're human. It's like, you don't know that.
Yeah.
Oh jeez, no, fuck both the Bobs, man. It's just like no one's saving that sinking ship. It's so many things that need to be fixed and reshuffled. The entire thought process, everything about it, the ideology that Kathleen Kennedy's brought in, just like, it's just crazy, man. And that's why I kind of feel a little bit gutted, or not gutted, but like a little disappointed that the Panderverse didn't go a little harder. This is such a great opportunity. You got your point across, but I feel like they could have gotten so many more things, so many more wins.
it could definitely. I know for me, like I don't know if you guys play the South Park games, but I feel like the Panderverse would be an amazing idea for a video game. If you guys
That's
haven't
a
played
lot
Stick
of
of Truth
investments for something that would be pretty spicy. I wonder if they'd do it.
Yeah, that'd be
'cause
great.
Their other games are more palatable as like straightforward, RPGs. Or I can't remember what was it. They did it. They did it for like the fantasy stuff, and then Fractured.
We did Stick of
Butthole.
Truth
I
and
remember-
Yeah.
Fractured Butthole.
Yeah. But
Panderverse
Butthole.
game would be like that would be great.
I mean, I'd play the fuck out of it. Are you kidding me? That'd be so much fun.
Yeah,
I was
first
just,
game
I
you
don't know.
fight, the Kardashian.
I mean,
fetus baby and
I
stuff.
don't know
Great
why
games.
this leapt into my head at this moment, but you know the moment where Kathleen Kennedy appears in Cartman's bedroom, and like she'd like drugs Butter's mother and like chloroforms her, and he like jumps out the window. He jumps through a fucking window when there's an open one right next to it. I just love that.
Yeah, they still do
Right.
basic like just comedy that's funny as shit. That has nothing to do with anything else. Because a lot of people keep saying it's like yeah, but they were too late. It's like no. This just means that we're probably going to get a lot more. It's going to have an uptick now. Maybe having some more mainstream comedians actually joking about it. The ones that could have done it a hell of a lot faster.
Yeah.
But for it to become mainstream to make fun of it is it's exactly what we want anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't
think
say
it's-
it's too late.
remember-
It's just they should have done this years ago. It's definitely
I think particularly if it's like Star Wars that you want to tackle, it's like, oh come on, we could have like gotten to this stage in 2020. We could have
Well, like
easily
they're late with the
been mocking it 3
multiverse
years ago.
criticisms, right?
Yeah.
They're like on the week usually, and but it was really funny to see it anyway. It's just, I guess what I'm trying to get at is like, will all the people who were like scared to sort of talk about it because it's you can get in trouble for it, like with social credit like situations. It's that was like the whole problem in the first place, and it seems like that veil might be lifting. South Park would be evidence of that, so that's like a
yeah.
like
This
a big
opens
old
the
plus.
door. So
'Cause,
opens the door for a lot of people.
I don't know if you guys have seen it. There have been like montage images on Twitter where they'll be like, all these guys didn't realize South Park was making fun of them. And Drinker, your fucking video was a snapshot of that. I was like, why did I even think to ask, did they watch your video? It's like, what a
Because
pointless
they don't
question.
watch them.
No, they
Yeah.
don't. And the idea that like that episode could be considered sort of anti the people online who are complaining about the state of Disney content. It's just like, I don't think South Park would ever be stupid enough to. I remember ER was talking about this on Twitter. It's like, could you imagine if the episode was like, Disney, yeah, they're bad, but you guys, you've done the real damage. Should be like, no. Like, how stupid do you sound at that point?
I mean, the episode tackles it so simply but so effectively when you just get that like confrontation between Cartman and Kathleen Kennedy, where it's like, I only used the Panderstone to combat like, oh, your hate mail that you sent me, and he's like, well, I only sent the hate mail because you were using the Panderstone to like inject all this bullshit into your movies. And so it's like the right there in a very simple way, they've like come up with the cyclical nature of this online criticism, feedback, reactionary stuff, and how it just feeds into this cycle of screwing up all these intellectual properties. Because when you're driven by responding to people who are criticizing your stuff rather than just wanting to tell a good story, you've automatically fucked yourself over.
She-Hulk.
And
Yeah. 'Cause there's more.
Like we're the bad guys in She-Hulk, basically.
Immediately.
Which was so fucking embarrassing. But like, yeah, from what Drinker just said, you can dig out of what Matt and Trey were saying with that as being like, it's only getting worse because everyone's basing like their next step over how pissed off they are with the previous step of the other person. There's no
it was
sort
an
of fixing
endlessly escalating cycle of just like wanting to get back at the other person.
But
Yeah,
like,
the other
the
side.
reality is we ain't making the fucking movies. You guys are. So,
Criticism has always existed, and very vocal and loud criticism has always existed. But once upon a time, companies would look at the criticism and go, okay, we probably shouldn't do that again. Remember, Batman and Robin, a movie that killed the Batman and Robin franchise for nearly a decade. So people do. Corporations used to listen like, oh God, look at the numbers, look at the box office, look at the criticism about it. This ain't working. We need to reevaluate, put it on ice for a bit. They don't do that anymore. So I don't know exactly what year it was, but it was around about the mid 2000s, from what I can sort of rememberish. Corporations decided to go to war with their customers. and it's all across the board, whether it be through desktop, through comics, through TV, through movies. Instead of them actually listening to the criticism, they would just turn around and go, go fuck off. You don't like this, don't buy it. You don't want this, go, then you're a bigot, you're this, you're that. They just went to complete. It's never good for business to go to war with customers.
Well, I think that's the key difference
them.
Between a company which is profit driven versus a company which is ideology driven. That's the thing. Like, if you criticize their product, which is infused with their particular ideology, then they're going to see that as just an attack on the ideology, and so that has to be countered with, similar attacks against you, because the profit doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, they've invested too much of themselves into it. It's just become
it's spilled over to everything, even video games. I saw Az's video on Alan Wake, and I've been playing that game myself. It's bugged for me. I can't progress. Maybe they'll fix it someday. I'll progress eventually. But I watched his video about it, and then you talked about that Sweet Baby Inc. thing.
Yeah,
and I looked that up, and then they have an entire consulting business that just makes everything more inclusive, and it's sort of when you say, yeah. It's sort of like
we're going to create a problem, which is inclusion and diversity. This is the new fictional problem, and we're here to solve it for you. All it'll do, cost you a lot of money.
Yeah,
it's
did you see one
it's ruining everything. It's not just movies, it's games too. And so many of these things, like it's kind of what I remember what Az said a while back, where you constantly getting current date. Oh, my dogs are barking. Sorry. Everything's getting current date in a sense. It feels as if you can't escape these things no matter what you do anymore. No matter what you consume, whatever you play, watch, it's just constant. And when they get mad about us existing, it's like we exist almost as like a necessary reaction to the fact of what these companies are doing. Like, we have to do what we're doing, because if we don't speak about these things will just keep getting worse and worse. You know what I mean?
Every action.
So when they say like, "Oh, you guys are wrong," reaction. It's like, no, yeah, like we have to. Like, if not us, then who really at that point, right?
Well, I do find it interesting, I guess, to watch how the pendulum can shift, and it takes. I guess sometimes it takes time, and it seems like this might be a good example of that, where we've been calling stuff like this out for the past couple of years, and we've obviously had a lot of people agree with us, but a lot of people disagree with us, particularly within any sort of mainstream official media. I'm sure none of them would support what we've been saying. But now you've got this episode of South Park that's come out that's just straight up acknowledged, yep, this is a problem in how we're making media now. And as we were saying earlier, it's now become officially safe to criticize this stuff because they've done it and other people will inevitably do it. And the more people that do, the more people will feel safe in doing it. So it becomes that sort of self-perpetuating cycle, and it's now the shift in the pendulum. But it makes me wonder, where will it lead to now, and what will the result be of this? Will they actually change, or will they just will these companies just write it off as like, well, everyone's just wrong?
I feel like in the media that I've consumed, whenever they don't pander, those things tend to do the best, both commercially and critically. A good example would be, in terms of movies, Top Gun Maverick, Spider-Man No Way Home. Those movies don't really pander. You just go watch them. They're good. They don't talk down to you. They don't try to educate you on anything. They're just, you paid us money, we're going to entertain you. Go home and have fun.
There's a lot of
people. In terms of video games, it's the same thing. Look at games like, Elden Ring, for example, right? If you ever played that, there's no politics in that game. You just buy it, play it, you're good. So I feel like what we're going to see more so, we're going to see people just, as long as they don't pander, those things are going to do the best, I think, commercially. And then eventually the market will understand and, mimic it, basically, if they're smart.
Yeah, sorry, Jedi, you were going to say something there.
Yeah, a lot of people will recommend things nowadays just because they're not woke. And I think it's like a problem in reverse, where it's like, okay, I still want it to be good. I want it to be well written. I'm glad it's not woke. This is a right step in the right direction, but can we get back to the writing quality? And it's part of the reason on my channel, I'd like to say it strategically, but I might have just like forgot to mention it this whole time. But I never used the word woke. I don't think I've ever done it on my channel because I feel like it's not going to age well. Everyone has their own definition of the word woke. So let's just talk about the shit writing and what it's doing to the storytelling, and then you can kind of go from there.
Well, I'd say part of the problem, to throw a grenade into this conversation, is there's a big disagreement on which things are and which things are not pandering. For example, the, as far as I'm concerned, embarrassing approach to Dead Space, the remake, where everyone, like half the fucking internet was talking about whether or not a particular woman was hot enough compared to like the stellar mechanical upgrade the game had, as well as the graphics, the atmosphere. What a glorious remake of an awesome game. And like a lot of the conversation was completely ruined by people who were like, yeah, but what bathrooms did they have in the game? Which I think is
gives a
absurd.
fuck. Oh, God, it's insanity. It's insane.
You know, like,
I've never heard a single thing
that-
about the gameplay on that game. Like not
That
one
was
thing.
that was legit one of the things that prompted me to make a video on like my second channel, like just what is woke, because I'm kind of like you. I never use the word in my reviews, my videos, or anything because it has been overused to the point that it has no meaning. And so when I saw people screaming woke about things like that, I just thought, right, I need to make my opinions clear on this, my position clear, because it's appropriate to call out things which have just prioritized identity politics over good storytelling or good character development to the point where one undermines the other. But the moment you go over the score and you just start screaming woke at everything, you've lost your mind and you're not contributing anything useful to the discussion anymore.
It ruins the conversation completely where there's no definition for it. And it's like, I feel like when a message or ideology is injected into a story to the point where it damages the story, that's what woke is. Not just the fact
that's my definition. Yeah.
It has to actually damage the story. Something intentional that has nothing to do with the storytelling and provably damages the story. Not just there's a girl with purple hair in it. Oh, there's a girl.
Yeah.
No,
reference you know, to maybe bridge some gaps that may have people might think are appearing. It's like I didn't continue playing Alan Wake 2 for the exact problems that Az laid out in his video. Like the efforts to change Alan Wake as an IP have absolutely destroyed it. There's nothing left. I don't even, if someone said to me like, oh, well, can I play it just to see how the story ends? It's like, that's not a sequel to Alan Wake. That's something else. It's some weird game that they made.
Yeah.
It's got barely anything to do with it.
I think you're absolutely right, Jedi. My personal definition of woke is where ideology overwrites character and story.
Yes.
That's my personal definition of woke.
And I think the definition is really important, especially now.
I do.
You know?
Because when I was playing Alan Wake 2, so some people were saying, "Oh, it's got a black chick. It's woke." I said, "There's nothing wrong with having a black female lead. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with creating a game with a black female lead. But she's got to be good.
That's it.
She's got to be good. She's got to be competent. She's got to be this. Got to be that." The problem with Saga Anderson is a legitimate race change character.
Yeah.
So you have an additional element to that. So instead of just
by the way, clear to the audience, this isn't an adaptation change. This is she was white in continuity and she is now black and has a different
there is.
So what is there any explanation for that? Or
yes, Sweet Pea Inc. Sweet Baby Inc. Not Sweet Pea. Sweet Baby Inc. This consultation company which comes in that will Stunning and Brave will include their own words. Make it more inclusive and diverse in an industry that's unfair. That's their own wording, their own verbiage. So they come in and they took Saga Anderson as a white. She was a typical Scandinavian-looking woman, blonde hair, blue-eyed Scandinavian woman, because that's who she was, Saga Anderson. And then they changed the character to a black character, and all her family are still all white, and the black side of the family, obviously the mother's husband, no, they're not in this at all. They're dismissed very quickly as he's gone and away and fuckety bye. So her mother's white Scandinavian, grandfather's white Scandinavian. So they did everything, but they just changed Saga Anderson herself. So that is an ideological change because she has physical media. She's actually in the trailer that was made for Alan Wake 2, The Return, which is about 7 years ago. which has and she's with Casey, and Casey's still Agent
Casey's the
Casey's
same.
still played by exactly the same actor, exactly the same character, the guy who played Max Payne. But the biggest problem with the Saga Anderson business is even if you put all aside the race changing because of Sweet Baby Ink, she's written like a fucking child. Her dialogue, the way that she acts to situations or doesn't react to situations as an FBI agent is laughable. And when I hear some people going, "Oh, wait, haven't you guys seen Twin Peaks?" My initial thought is, you clearly fucking haven't. You clearly fucking haven't if you think this is anything like that.
What you're describing just seems like literally straight out of the Panderverse, where like Kyle and Stan are just sitting with the PC principal, and it's like they've got a black Cartman there, and it's like, how is this Cartman? Like, what's going on?
That's one of the best parts of the Panderverse.
Yeah, seriously.
The PC principal says like, Cartman's a black woman. What the hell? There's like, what's wrong with that?
It's like, oh, clearly you boys have got a problem with like strong, empowered black women. And they're like, no, we've got no problem with that. It's just like you've changed our friend into someone completely different.
Yep.
And like I said, I don't think as you going to finish the game. I assume not at this point.
I want to, but it's getting more and more difficult because RoboCop came out today. Yeah. That's fucking amazing.
I'm going to stream that, I think.
Star Ocean's second story came out today. I played the demo of that. I cannot wait to play that because the demo is so damn good.
I'm gonna surprise you. Metal slithered over the finish line for Alan Wake 2 today, and he just said it was miserable and he hated everything about it, basically. So
I think it's honestly one of the worst games I played all year.
It's
like,
terrible. I gave it 5
dreadful.
hours, which was 2 more than I ever wanted to. But I was on stream and I was like, I'm going to try.
To me, like it's a game that so clearly just wants to be a TV show. It's like, why are you even a game?
There's no gameplay. There's barely any gameplay.
That's the worst. That's the worst.
But yeah,
and all I read on Twitter is people just being like, "Oh my god, this is the best thing ever! It's just so it's incredible."
Oh yeah, there's 10
thinking to myself, and
across the board. It's insane. It's sad too.
Yeah.
Like this is where it gets to the point of saying like the criticisms of modern gaming and how it's falling apart. It's like I understand that attitude when you play stuff like if you played Gollum, Kong, and Alan Wake 2 all in a row, you'd be like, "What in the fuck is going on?" But I was going to say, one of the first things that happens during when I was streaming, I was like, I'm going to give this a clean, neutral go. I'm going to absorb the whole thing. Here I go. Your fucking partner, one of the first things he says to you as Saga is like, "You're a way better detective than I am. You better take control of this case." It's like,
I don't want to slow you down.
Oh my god.
And that's her boss.
I hate getting told, like in any media, the best example is still Captain Marvel, where there's just that focus on Monica Rambeau, whatever. She's just like, "You're smart,
you are strong,
you are strong,
brave,
you are powerful, you are funny."
Like, you're funny, yeah. It's like, okay, you're telling us one thing, but you're showing us something very different in this movie.
Yeah,
but that's what Saga does. Saga does that. She goes through the game and she'll do something. She'll either be in a fucking made-up jizz room where she just makes up shit and then it's immediately fact, and she'll just validate herself constantly. Come on, Saga, you can do this. Come on, Saga. When I played a couple of hours a couple of nights ago, and she kills one of the she does the like shoots them, and this is an FBI agent in her 30s, and she goes, "Well, at least now there's less monsters."
And that was in the beginning. I remember that. That was so bad, dude.
Dude, when she kills a wolf, she says like, "The darkness is turning the wildlife against me." What? No, it's just a wolf.
But I'm not fully versed on the hierarchy of the FBI, but I don't really recall when a superior goes on a case with somebody that they defer to the
well, but she's that good.
Yeah, it's just that doesn't make sense.
She's just so good, though.
Yeah,
and he's the one that initiates the conversation with the police officer, and then he's like, "Oh, it's good to see you back, Agent Casey, running this case." The dialogue is so contrived to him to go, "No, you got it half right. I'm here, but she's running the case." And then she steps up and he's like, "Oh shoot, I didn't mean nothing by that." And I'm thinking, "What do you mean by I didn't mean nothing by that?" That opens up a whole new fucking door of weirdness. I didn't put that bit in the video. I cut it out eventually because I thought I could go down the right rabbit hole with this. And then as soon as he apologizes, when he should have just said, "Oh, okay, Agent Casey, Agent Anderson, you're in charge." Oh, by the way, Agent Anderson, who introduces herself to everybody as Saga, the member of the FBI who's on a case, an official case, who goes up and goes, "Hi, I'm Saga." No, you're Agent Anderson or Special Agent Anderson. That's what you are. And then she immediately leaves that conversation to have the one that Morley just said. They're walking down, and he just says, "You're a better detective than I." Why did you put me in charge? Because you're a better detective than I am. I'll just slow you down. And I'm just like, oh, this is already at the beginning of the game. I'm trying. I really do want to give you the benefit of the doubt, but you're fucking making it hard from the get-go.
Well, I've seen people here and there in chat saying, fuck all this, go and make your own opinion by playing the game. I seriously recommend to stay the fuck away from Alan Wake 2, especially if you like the first one.
Yeah,
I don't normally do that. There's not many pieces of media that make me say like stay the fuck away from it, but stay the fuck away from this. It's toxic. It's radioactive.
It's the same. It's the same thing in us.
Yes, play the first game.
Same thing in Spider-Man 2. There's a whole scene like 80% in where Peter looks at Miles and goes, you're a better Spider-Man than I ever been.
Does he legit do that?
Does he do that?
Who did the story consultation for Spider-Man 2? Sweet Baby Inc.
Yep. And they also did God of War Ragnarok, which was also not
being
good.
a company whose only job is to do shit like this, to go into other companies and basically infect them with your ideology.
It's an absolute scam.
I get paid millions of dollars for doing it. Probably.
I don't know who here is aware of this, but I just thought this is a genuine thing that happened, right? So Friggy played through all of that game, and I had to ask him because I thought it was a joke on Twitter. I didn't realize, and I was telling him the joke. I was like, apparently, this game is so pandering. There's a random part where you just play as a deaf black girl doing graffiti on a wall for whatever. I was like, it just sounds like a silly thing that someone's come up with because it's Spider-Man. It's like, I completely buy playing as Peter or Miles or whatever, but I was just like, oh, that's like a meme. He was like, no, that's in the game. I was like, what do you mean that's in the game? He was like, yeah, you have to do that. And I was like, why? And he was like, I don't know, man.
You can't tell what's a meme anymore. Like, you can't tell what's a meme or a joke or parody anymore. Like, you can just make the most ridiculous statement.
For the record,
and it turns out that's it.
I hear it's a fun game, like traversing around and battles and stuff. I don't know what the story's like. I don't know much at all about Spider-Man 2, but I know that. And I know that it crashes a lot and there's loads of glitches and it's a very short game. So I'm surprised it's got as much praise as it has, but maybe there's more context. Or maybe the story is fucking amazing.
I've only heard praise on the gameplay. I've not heard praise about the story. I've heard
much on the story either. Yeah,
I think Mark Cyborg. I think he said it was shit. Pretty sure.
This is sweet. This is them. Founded in 2018. Yep. Sweet Baby Inc. is a narrative development and consultation studio based in Montreal and working around the globe. Our mission is to tell better, more empathetic stories while diversifying and enriching the video games industry. We aim to make games more engaging, more fun, more meaningful. Let's get to the word you really want to say. And more inclusive for everyone. And then
was their site made by actual babies?
Yes.
Children, sensitive people.
Alan Wake 2, we worked on character arcs, voices, and sensitivity reading.
Wait, what did they do for Ragnarok?
Ragnarok worked on narrative and character consultation with a focus on representation.
Ragnarok is fucking brilliant. I'll fight you on that to the death if you want.
We worked on Ragnarok consultation with Spider-Man.
As far as I'm aware, I'm not the only person here who liked Ragnarok.
Ragnarok was fun. I didn't really like the story though, personally.
Oh, good God! As someone who's never even played the game, I know the story's fantastic.
The father and son story of how to fucking parent your children properly and what will happen if you don't. Oh, it's brilliant.
I was a big Devil May Cry fan back in the day just because of the gameplay, and Ragnarok started around the same time, or at least God of War, sorry. And I'm genuinely jealous that Dante just never really had a story, just cool gameplay, and then this guy apparently has had an entire arc. So
I do wonder if their contribution to Ragnarok was Angraboda's character. And I don't say that as a criticism of the character because I did like her, but if I had to pin down something that they would have suggested, it seems like she would have been it.
Her section was boring as hell and very strange. I wouldn't be surprised if this group was the ones that like sort of
I don't even
that section. But
Well,
at
I
the
don't
same
even know if
time,
they necessarily like insisted that whole section be put in. It might have been they just suggested that she be black, for example, to increase
Could
the
be.
inclusivity of it.
but at the same time, it's a microcosm compared to the writing in the game that I think is fucking great. Compared, like
Absolutely, yeah.
the amount of work that goes into obviously Odin, Thor, Kratos, Freya, like they did an excellent job. And I don't know, a conclusion to the story of the entire arc he's gone on throughout all the God of War games. I was downright impressed they managed to sew them all up together.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was
So
gonna.
I thought it
I
was
was
okay.
gonna. Oh,
I was going to
There's
say,
another
I've
thing,
just shared the. This is what Sweet Baby Inc. have to say about Alan Wake 2. Representation. We believe that representation is key to connecting player and audiences, and we offer a few ways to help your team and project gain the perspective needed to make it happen. We're part of an inclusive and knowledgeable community of diverse consultants able to cover a wide range of cultural and sensitivity topics. Our approach leads with the creation of joy in marginalized players and seeks to be addictive rather than strictly corrective. We do cultural consultation, sensitivity and inclusivity reading, risk and opportunities assessment, and more.
Pandering.
Just
That's what they do.
just a bunch of bullshit.
Honestly,
That's what I heard.
out of general
literally paid to
curiosity,
pander.
I would honestly love to be a fly on the wall in one of those meetings that they have with a game developer. You know, we've written the script for our game. This is our characters. This is our story. And these guys come in. I'd love to know what they say in that meeting.
And
Like,
why?
how do they like? Is it literally just put a chick in it and make her gay? And like,
Is it that simple?
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
like
it might
kinda
just
feels
be.
like, it would be.
Remember
like, look,
the diversity board with dinosaur and diversity
Yeah.
twice? You remember that shit? Just the fact that exists.
It could be like
you
we've analyzed your script for your game and we've concluded that there needs to be like 27% more women in it and like 13% more minorities, and like.
Do you remember
there's-
when Captain Marvel first came out and there was that crazy chick on Twitter going nuts for that fact that Samuel Jackson had more lines than Brie Larson in the trailer? Like that's the thought process of these people. Of like he spoke more than her. This is patriarchy. This is just like calm down. Thought process behind it.
it's bad because places like
Sweet Pea.
just chill out. Drink
there's
some
like places like Activision Blizzard. They literally have a diversity like tool where they will how they add characters to a game like Overwatch, for example. They will literally run the character through an algorithm that'll tell them, like, based on their sexuality, their skin color, and everything, if the character is diverse enough to be made.
Yeah,
It's
and
insane.
they'll also sexually assault their employees as well.
Yeah, and drink their breast milk, which is an insane real thing that happens at Blizzard.
What?
I'm not kidding. Look it up.
I don't think I want to.
employees
What are we talking about here?
Yeah, there's literally employees that would steal breast milk from the fridge that other employees would put in there. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I wish I was, but I'm not.
In the corner. That's just
We live in an
that
interesting
image in my
world.
head.
There's a difference,
Yeah.
a big difference between reality and the projection of corporations. And believe me, corporations want to project all these stunning and brave imagery. But the simple fact of the matter is a lot of them are just full of shit and scumbags. And it's not just Activision Blizzard, Riot Games, it's all over the place. And it's not just, of course, in gaming. We're talking about TV, film. It's probably Hollywood's probably one of the scummiest places around, full of the most degenerate filth that is imaginable. And these are the people that want to moralize to you.
Yeah. They're the last people in the world that should be preaching. Just tell your fucking story and shut up.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They can't anymore, though. That's the problem.
You
why
are
everything sucks.
you are dancing monkeys, entertainers.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all you are. You're not fucking changing the world. Most of you are too fucking retarded to say anything of any worth anyway. So shut your fucking mouth, Rachel Zegler. Not looking at you at all.
Yeah. She has nothing to offer anyone. That
Well, didn't
ruined
Gina
her career.
Carano like do a tweet response to her as well?
Yes.
Did she?
Just
Yeah, because she
yesterday
went on
it
the
was.
picket lines. Yeah, she went on the picket lines to support. I deserve to be paid for every minute that I'm in the costume, every minute that I'm on a streaming service, yada yada yada. But now she's signed a waiver so she can go off and promote the new Hunger Games movie.
Wait, how
Which
does
is
that
gonna
work?
flop.
Well,
Because she signed a waiver.
You can get it's almost like a dispensation from the Actors Guild to say that you can go and promote stuff if they give permission for you to do it.
Maybe I'm like super naive here, but like I would have thought that isn't solidarity super important.
No,
like,
it's not.
Well, it's solidarity if they say it is Mueller, so that's all that counts. Well, she actually commented exactly on this, and this is from Gina Carano's tweet. It's quite lengthy, so I won't go through all of it, but she said, what an odd strike this is. Small non-studio productions are having trouble getting waivers, but studios get the interim agreements left, right, and center. Celebrities go from the picket line to their promotional tours and red carpets. What happened to that? I better get paid for every hour that I stand in this dress talk. Meanwhile, the people who are actually suffering are the crews and actors who are not part of the studio projects or the in-group to get the waivers granted. Think this was an accident? Maybe they should have granted waivers for all the non-studio productions, keep people working and halt all studio productions if they really wanted to make a difference and reach a faster agreement. Who is this strike really intended to hurt again? Better make a deal quick because people are starting to notice. I'm sure it'll all be in favor of all the right people, and all the right people will pat themselves on the back for an excellent deal and months of suffering well worth the wait. The hypocrisy is palpable. The system is rigged and littered with posers. Art is free. Creativity is your rebellion.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mic drop.
She's just been, Gina's absolutely been killing it the last few days, just calling out all the bullshit.
I think she's really got this feel of like, I've got fuck all to lose at this point. I'm just going to go all in.
And it's so well timed. Like, you know, she could have said this. She's been holding this back for so long, like we were saying earlier. It's just so well timed to be able to just come and just riddle them with these bullets now. It's just facts. It's just facts, and it's the perfect time for people to take them seriously.
And it will be very interesting if she does release these emails that were internal to Lucasfilm and Disney. It'll be very interesting to see what was said.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it'll ever happen, but
imagine if Gina Carano started her own like podcast.
So many missed opportunities. I'm just gonna say one thing real quick. Like how far I might have the furthest history with Gina, unless anyone here is like an MMA fan, because Ronda Rousey was the one who brought women into the UFC, and she got a lot of the credit for it. But Gina Carano is like the pioneer of female MMA. Like she really was one of the first. And she doesn't get that same type of credit. So that was a missed opportunity way back then in terms of her rep. And then, so I feel so bad for what happened to her with Disney, because this is two different like industries where she didn't really get, you know, the right proper opportunities. Because she should be held. No, not just be wrongfully terminated, but she should also be, you know, an MMA legend, and she'd also.
What's crazy too is like when she got fired, I remember people were so bloodlust and thirsty over it that they actually ended up going for other people that didn't even have contact with her anymore. Remember, she dated Henry Cavill, and people tried to go after Henry Cavill because he dated her. It's like, it was just ridiculous. And then, Rachel Zegler, you can look up her tweets. Like Gina Carano's not the only one that she attacked. She also attacked Jeremy Renner as well during his whole custody battle thing too. Like, that woman's insane too.
Yeah, she's just a fucking cunt.
Yeah.
Gina,
like it is.
But it is. She's the definition of, you know, a lot of people go, she's young. It's not young. She's just a hideous human being.
Yeah, you can't blame that on age.
Yeah, she's got a history of this absolutely disgusting behavior against people. She's got the perfect role because she's an absolute epitome of a princess.
And she's never been in a movie that was profitable.
No,
and probably never will.
She's been that way her whole life for sure.
The comment that really stood out for me was talking about her co-star Andrew something, who's playing Prince Charming in Snow White, saying like, "Oh yeah, great dude. All of his scenes might get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby."
Yeah.
And I just thought that is a really shitty way to talk about your co-star.
Like,
that seems to be
sank. Yeah, that's.
What she should be saying is it would be really fucking unfortunate if that was to happen.
After all the good work,
great actor, and we had such a great relationship.
Yeah, I'm not an actor, but like I'm assuming that is a big no-no in the business to badmouth your co-stars in that way.
It depends, right? Because the current state of things, it might be seen as a big old yes, and that he's like, he might get cut out, and he's just. I could imagine him standing there being like,
I think there's people egging on her behavior instead of having the right team around her to go shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah,
proper PR would have stopped this.
I think she's got the wrong people around her that are egging on this thing because they most likely themselves have been brought into the industry through this intersectional crap. And I think earlier, I don't know who said it. Apologize. Said that Rachel Zegler is probably responsible for at least 100 million less at the box office. Sorry, Will. I would argue more. I would legitimately argue a lot more than 100 million. I think all she's done is talk people out of the theaters. Not just that, she's shown everybody exactly who she is as a person. So it's not just a knock-on effect to Snow Brown. It's now a knock-on effect to her Hunger Games film as well.
Yeah, it's gonna follow her. This is the type of thing that will follow her.
Exactly, it will.
This is because it's her specifically. Like, this isn't the type of thing that you can hide just or like excuse because of her age or anything like that. And there's so many opportunities for her to dial it back, and she had other people to learn from. There's just no excuse for this. She's an idiot, and she's damaged her entire career now.
Tom Holland. Take Tom Holland. Tom Holland is it when he got into the Marvel roles, young man. He was a young man. He was early 20s when he got into that business, 23 odd, 22, 23, not too dissimilar to Rachel Zegler's age right now. And Tom Holland has always, every single time I see him interviewed, I see him when he's been gorilla caught on camera, he's been nothing but absolutely charming as fuck.
Yes.
To every single solitary person. And that to me says that's more probably about who Tom Holland is as a person.
Yes, it's natural.
Than anything. Yeah, I think it's just a natural reaction. Even if he gets caught by paparazzi's like, no, like, type of thing. And every time he's actually being interviewed, comes across as an absolutely great guy. Really, really nice guy.
He seems like one of the most it seems like one of the most genuine people in Hollywood right now, and everyone can see that comes across in his performances.
I feel particularly bad for him too, because he's been trying to get outside of just doing mainstream stuff, but it just hasn't been working. Like all of his lower budget, more indie stuff, like it just gets reviewed horribly. He's like, okay,
he's had an alcohol problem too because of it.
Yeah,
I read about that.
Oh, really? People.
It's a tough when you're at that level, you know. Yeah,
like because a lot of Kit Harington at the end of Game of Thrones, he went through that. Like you're known for this one thing, and it must be difficult to make that transition. Like I wasn't shocked at all to hear that he was having issues with that. There's probably so many untold stories about that type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the entire Game of Thrones cast probably suffered from that.
Yeah,
I don't think any of them have broken out really.
Tyrion, I'd say, or Peter Dinklage is the only one.
Peter Dinklage,
he's idiot. They're wasting Charles Dance. I'm losing my mind. He turned 77 a few weeks ago. Where the clock's ticking. Like, there's so many talented actors
at least
could have been used.
Yeah, I mean, at least with Charles Dance, like he obviously had a fantastic career before Game of Thrones. You know, so he was an established actor. But
big time. Yeah, but it's great.
Alien 3 is getting.
That's all I mean, he did a lot of stuff over here. He did a lot of TV as well as films and stuff.
Yeah, he's pretty well known over here.
Okay, I feel like I've only seen him be wasted, so I need to go look back at his old stuff. You know, because I think of him being wasted in Godzilla, wasted in Aliens, and wasted in Game of Thrones.
Last Action Hero, come on!
Oh, true.
Yeah.
True. Okay,
if God was a villain, he'd be me.
Often cited as the time everyone saw Arnold Schwarzenegger bleed for the first time, as in like his career. So
oh yeah. That's where the tide tried to Swift.
And I like Last Action Hero. Like I thought fucking everybody does it.
It tried to do a thing.
Or you think it was T3? I think T3 is where he lost his mystique.
Well, I think really the 90s was a slow bleed for him in the like he did Terminator 2, which was the highlight of his career probably. He did Last Action Hero, which was a bit of a flop. That was the first chink in the armor. He bounced back with True Lies, which was pretty successful. Yeah. Then it was a series of pretty mediocre action movies like Eraser,
End of Days.
Of course, the glory that was Batman and Robin. We know
that was
he's great.
He's having so much fun.
He got top billing.
I think really the end of the beginning of the end for him was when he had his heart surgery in the late 90s because he couldn't train like he used to, and so he didn't have the physique that he had before, and he just kind of became this like old it just became like this old, slightly dated relic like by that point, and then that's really the end for him as a mainstream star. And it's a shame, but
I give him credit for his old performance. A lot of people like to shit on him until he can't act, but like I think he's like he does what he needs to do for the roles, you know. He's not like It's a
And
mix
don't
of his personality, his obviously his brawn as an
I
appearance.
think-
And make no
but,
mistake
yeah, I
about
think
Arnold. He was
Arnold's-
a millionaire before he did movies in
Oh,
real
yeah.
estate and working out. He was well off well before that.
yeah,
Movies
he's a
just
smart
for
dude.
fun.
He's a sharp
I think
dude.
Arnold was always aware of his limitations as an actor, and so he
Yes.
didn't really need to push it. Like, it's not like he was
Yeah.
taking on really big, heavy, dramatic roles,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
so he
then-
knew what his strengths were as an actor.
You know,
I
when you've
suppose.
seen the Netflix Arnie documentary that he was.
Yeah,
like-
I saw it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The big thing you get from watching it all with the clips and the context he gives and stuff is just he was just trying his ass off all the time.
Yeah.
And
He's a hard
obviously
worker.
really, really hard worker.
I mean,
You can't
the fact
become
that he
Mr.
did-
Olympia unless you're dedicated. Like that. Like
Well,
anyone who doesn't know anything about bodybuilding, like it's not just all roids.
The crazy things, like, you know, when he did Hercules in New York, he literally couldn't speak English, and so
Yeah.
he had to learn the words just verbatim. He didn't know what he was actually
Oh, dude.
saying. It was just rehearsing it
When
over and
you-
over in his head.
When
Wasn't
you
he
know
Arnold Strong in that as well? That who's
Yeah,
built
Arnold
as
yeah,
Arnold
Strong, yeah,
Strong.
because
When
like
you
nobody's
know-
gonna say Schwarzenegger; they won't understand it.
and that's him that made that work, you know,
Arnold
like
Strong.
pushing that name, making it so famous. But I was gonna say, like, you see his work, let's say in like the latter parts of his movie career, and you'd be like, does he fucking barely speak English? It's like, listen to him before. Like, the man made a lot of progress, and it's
He's one
Did
of
they
the greats.
dub him?
man.
Did they dub over him
love
in Hercules New York as well?
They
dubbed over
did,
him,
yeah. Because if you listen to the undubbed version, my God, that's an experience. I am tired of the
I'm-
same old talk, the same old things.
I want it. I want to see it. I'm ready for undubbed Arnie. Bring it to me.
Yeah, hey.
But then, you know, you get, like, I think Muller and I, we've talked about this. Like, if you watch him in something like Predator, it's an action movie and
Ooh.
with
Yeah.
horror elements like thrown into it. But his performance is actually not bad.
It's good.
That's
It's
the one
really
that you
good.
can't really shit on.
exactly
He
what
sells
it
it.
needs
He
to
does everything he needs to do in terms of the
Yeah.
transition. Like the
Predators. Like
his
one of the best
character
movies ever made.
evolves
I
with
love
the
that
movie evolving for sure in terms of
One
the
of the-
switching in genre. I like
one
that.
of the
I
things
really like
he,
him seriously.
he captures in Predator. That's not the easiest thing to do. Is I believe he cares a hell of a lot about his men,
Yes.
and that he's not fucking happy with the situation, primarily
Yeah.
because they're now in danger, and that they're in a danger that he was not aware he was putting them in.
Yeah,
And
Something that he does a good job of getting across.
I like him assessing the situation of like why didn't he like what's it? Well, you can fresh me on this one. Like why didn't he untie her? Where's the blood? Like trying to just making logical
Hawkins.
comments, you know,
Yeah.
and like understanding the situation. It's just it's
For
so
me,
believable.
I saw Predator when I was 5 years old. My dad rented it from Blockbuster. We had no idea what it was. He put it on for us. I started watching it. That's the movie where I learned the word motherfucker.
Oh,
You know,
shit.
and he pulls the
Nice,
mask off.
nice.
I was a little kid. He's like, "You are one ugly motherfucker." I was like,
Oh,
"Oh,
man,
and I lost
nice,
my mind."
nice. That's a good
Yeah,
one. to
that's
get
literally
in.
the first time I ever
There's-
heard that word.
That's one of two movies that drives me nuts. I'm pretty sure it's studio mandate that it doesn't it open The Thing and Predator start with a shot of the ship. Just delete that and keep the mystery.
Yeah, that was definitely
Delete.
done.
Literally
that was
just
done
delete.
post. That was done
Yeah.
post.
Yeah.
Because they weren't going to put it in originally. I think probably would have made for a stronger film without that.
You-
There would have been more
I
of a
think
mystery
both of
to
them
it.
benefit from
Both
not
of
knowing
them.
about that.
Literally just
Yeah.
delete those scenes and you add +2 to mystery in your films that are already
Ye-
fantastic.
You know the funny thing about his accent as well, like the German dub of the Terminator, it's not actually his voice, even though he speaks obviously fluent German, because he has apparently a rural accent, so it'd be like having a hillbilly do the voice of the Terminator. They have to get a different German.
That's so funny.
I just think that's great.
Schwarzenegger.
Try to like
Yeah.
imagine that
It's
hillbilly.
so good, dude.
Y'all got one of them Uzis up there?
Oh my god. That's the first thing I'm gonna ask Metal next
Shoot.
time I talk to him. What does a hillbilly German sound like?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man.
and he'll go. Just listen to me.
I want to say though, The Thing and Predator are still perfect, even with their flaws.
Yeah, I agree.
Flawless,
perfection.
even with their flaws.
Predator's
Yeah.
one of the
As-
greatest
as-
movies of all time.
As a 5-year-old
So-
kid, seeing the Predator for the first time blew my mind. When it took its mask off, I see the mandibles. I was like, I wasn't even scared. I was like, this is amazing. It's like
way
incredible.
better
I
than
think-
99.9% of anything that's come after it.
In
Yeah.
terms of a concept overall, like I don't think the Predator's been topped. Like I think the design for the Xenomorph is damn near perfect, but just
Yeah,
the concept of the Predator and everything that you can imagine in your head for it, and so much of the
Oh, he's
the-
cool
how
as
much
fuck.
yeah, it's just so
Like,
amazing.
10
The
out of 10
concept.
design.
Fucking
How
dreads.
often do they combine like sci-fi tribal?
Yeah, yeah.
Whoa.
And do
that's
it so
interesting.
subtly, you know.
Like, what do you
they-
guys think is the best monster design in the last maybe 10 years? So you can't say Predator, of course. and
The
stuff.
Ritual.
Kathleen Kennedy.
I would say the Ritual too.
Cartman
The
Kennedy.
Ritual, yeah.
Yeah.
The Ritual though has a really cool monster.
The
too.
Ritual, I don't like the movie. It's kind of crap, but the monster in that is literally literally go Google it. Gorgeous. It's like just
It's amazing
beautiful.
looking. Yeah.
Hold on, I'm going to look at it right now.
Yeah, the creature
When
from
you say
the
gorgeous, do you mean horrifying?
horrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning.
We don't
Like,
want to spoil.
Stop what you're doing and go look.
Basic premise of the movie. It's on
Oh,
Netflix.
Yeah,
A bunch of guys go on a trip into the woods. One of their guys is getting married, I think, or something like that.
It's worth watching. It's one of the
Something
films
like
that
that.
I'd recommend. That's
Yeah.
literally worth watching just for the creature.
I don't even know how to describe it. Actually, it's bizarre.
It's fucking insane.
It's amazing looking
Yeah.
though, right? It looks great.
The bear from Annihilation. That seems fantastic.
Yeah.
The movie's dog
Yeah.
shit. And I'm forgetting one. Someone else tag in.
It's like someone attached a Wendigo to a Stegosaurus or something.
It's a magnificent design. It's like I
It's
wish
a,
I wish everyone was that creative when they created creatures.
Yeah, the Ritual monster is a Jotun, which is like an offspring of Loki.
yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's stunning. Yeah.
It looks kind of like a deer with like a human body for a face, and it has like horns and it has the arms.
Don't even try to
Little-
describe this thing.
Yeah, it's so cool looking, dude. And like that's probably one of my favorite monsters. And for me, even though probably people will disagree, I think the Cloverfield monster is really cool. I like the way it looks. I don't know. I just do.
The Cloverfield, as in Clover itself.
Yeah, like the big like snake kind of chimera headed, like you know what I mean. The one in the Matt Reeves film.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Sorry.
you don't get to see a huge amount.
Yeah,
of
you
it,
barely
so
see
it's
it. I'm like, what do we? I'm kind of picturing it right now. I would
still
go
like it.
even the creature in underwater. I think you get a better shot of that than the Cloverfield.
I don't think I saw that movie.
Yeah, that movie
Nobody
Underwater.
did, apparently.
Yeah, nobody
Yeah,
came
Wait, I
Welcome
did. That's the one with Kirsten Stewart, right?
because of
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
People don't like her. No, the movie's actually good.
She's
It
all
was-
bad at it.
People just
it's
don't like
weird
her.
because
She's fantastic in it. I liked her.
Yeah, the monster in that's good
her
because
performance.
I don't want to
Yeah,
spoil
her
it.
performance in that was fine. I guess it's like
a
it was a
redeeming
strange movie
performance,
where
yeah.
I think they were trying to give it a lot more depth and meaning than the script could really support. But it was better than just your average kind of low budget action movie.
Did you notice the
I
rabbit
think
thing at the very end? The rabbit that they were holding throughout the entire movie, at the very last shot, it showed it was a real rabbit. Not sure what that was like signifying or anything, but like I always found that little piece interesting. As they're, yeah, go ahead.
What I found really interesting about Underwater is apparently the movie is supposed to have a different monster as the main monster. And then I don't want to spoil it for anyone in case they watch it because the monster reveal is worth it. But they found out that there was something else that they could use that was in public domain. That if you watch it, you know what I'm talking about. And once they found out that this particular legendary monster design was public domain, they used it instead. And that's a really good reveal too. I'm trying not to spoil stuff, but yeah, you haven't seen Underwater. I think it might be on Netflix.
I thought nobody had
Fun,
it.
underrated sci-fi movie. If someone's just in the mood for that.
because
If you're in
I
the
was
mood,
pleasantly
it'll
surprised with it. When I found out, I mean, I'm trying to. I feel like I'm avoiding the same spoiler that.
Yeah, I don't want to say what it is because once you say it, you'll be like, oh, okay.
It was.
I don't wanna-
I saw a couple of couple of YouTube videos that were like this movie explained with a thumbnail that I was like, that looks interesting, and then I'd be disappointed when the video was like, oh, it's a goofy B movie that no one cared about and had one special effects shot that was actually kind of neat, and one of them was underwater, and it said like. The video had the premise of the film, and I was like, "Fuck it! This time I'm just gonna watch it. I'm not even gonna I'm just gonna
let 'em
watch
ruin
this
it.
film." And then I
Maybe
did, and
let
I
'em
was
ruin
like,
it.
"Oh shit! That movie wasn't bad. It was."
I would
okay."
never
It wasn't-
claim
it
it's
wasn't bad,
amazing or
though.
anything, but it's entertaining. Like if you're just looking to be
Yeah.
entertained by a sci-fi movie, I promise you it's entertaining. Good characters, good tension.
I think
It just
yeah,
does
for
the job.
when you say a like low budget Kristen Stewart movie, it's like your mind conjures up all kinds of
Yeah.
horrors. But
Yeah,
you
I
know,
mean, that makes
it's
sense.
better than that. You know?
Well, like, for reference, my favorite character, at least from what I remember, was the captain. I
Chad.
forget the actor who played him, the name of him. I mean, but
His name is
really,
Chad.
Yes, he was Chad in the film, and he made it very enjoyable to watch. With they're very proactive characters, and they're in a situation that's fucking horrifying. Like
It's
when you
what
think about it.
it's the appeal that Alien had, and that's part of the reason a lot of people compared it to it. It's just we're watching people be logical, and it's refreshing.
It'd be cool to get like it would never happen, especially because that film didn't. I'm pretty sure it like flopped or in whatever
Oh, it
equivalent
flopped,
it would be.
When you killed
But
the
to get
monster,
a
did she say, "Well, at least that's one less monster"?
I hope so.
No,
I
it'd be
did
cool to get
this
like
one as
a
well.
TV series for it, so it could have given more time, more development, and maybe show the facility for an episode or two before it falls apart. That could have been something.
But if you want to watch a movie with a good monster reveal at the end, The Ritual, not a great movie, but it's whatever. Underwater, decent movie. Both have great monster reveals, though. Really, really good. So
I did like this one as well. There is a T3 deleted scene where you get to find the guy who's the base model for the Terminators, and it's obviously Arnold, but they give him this like really ridiculous Southern accent. I can see why they deleted it.
Yeah, get rid of that.
Bizarre. But I was going to do a few super chats actually, since we've got a little bit of time left, if that's all right with you guys, because I know there's a ton of them that have come through. All right. Grimnack says, Drinker, my special needs sister was named after the Little Mermaid. When I asked her if she was excited for the live action, she said, that's not Ariel. Ariel is not black, and I'm not black either. Cheers. Thank you, man.
Jesus Christ.
There's a mic drop moment. RRTNZ says, if Chuck Norris was on the event horizon, the demons would beg him to turn the gravity drive off. Hail to Drinker and crew. Looking forward to the next happy hour. He just can't wait to make his way to hell so he can kick the shit out of everyone. Also from the same person says, the Empire planned a third Death Star. Instead of a laser, it would just deploy Chuck Norris to kick a planet and make it explode. Fortunately, it was never built. Well, we should be grateful for that, I suppose, because it would have ended the rebellion right there. Go for Broke says, I'd love to watch you play Spider-Man 2.
No.
He would lose his mind.
I'm not playing Social Justice Man 2. No, I'm okay. I'm gonna be playing RoboCop though. So
did he really have a part where he said like, "Oh, Miles, you're so much better at being Spider-Man than me"? Did they do that?
That's literally in the story. Yeah, he literally goes, "Why would the city ever need me when it has you?" And I went, "Oh my god, dude."
Why do I get this weird? Why do I get this weird feeling that they are going all out to try and make Miles better than Peter?
They are 100%. It's not basically hinting that like they want to make Miles the main Spider-Man. That's what they're trying to do.
I've seen people talking about that, but not to go too nerdy with it, but like finding out that does Miles defeats Peter even when he has the symbiote attached? I was like,
bullshit.
I mean, the way like I looked at that scene was it was Peter and Miles fighting the symbiote, but technically, yeah, people could look at it and be like Miles beat Peter with the symbiote on, but like in the context of the scene, they're both technically fighting the symbiote. It's not Peter fighting Miles, it's Peter kind of wrestling with it while Miles is trying to get it off of him. But they do still try to make Miles the main Spider-Man, which is very lame.
Like I said, I don't know a lot of the context, but I've seen plenty of discussions about the game. But as I think as pointed out earlier, like not a lot in terms of complimenting its story. No, I'm not seeing much of anybody saying that.
No, its story is pretty basic.
Keep seeing videos of him traveling through the city. That's what everyone shares. Like, look at this, traveling through the city.
Yeah, just him web slinging. There's nothing. There's not really anything.
Like when you see it for the 100th time, like scrolling, I was just like, is this really it? Like,
the story for me was better in the first game. Much better, and you could tell that the first game it doesn't have the nonsense that we have today when you play the first one. It's like, because for example, Peter as Spider-Man, he comes into contact with police officers, and then in the second game they make a deliberate choice to ensure that Spider-Man never talks to or interacts with any police officers because they don't want to, the whole, it's stupid. And it's actually interesting because you're playing RoboCop. That comes in the mail for me today, but I was reading some reviews about RoboCop and people were saying I'm having a hard time enjoying this game because I'm playing as a police officer, and we should defund the police. You know what I mean? Like,
God.
It never ends.
Why do you play games? Why do you even seek out?
Plus, like, if we're talking about like RoboCop, it's like how to say you've never seen the movie without saying you've never seen the movie,
exactly.
like, and not understanding what it's about.
RoboCop.
Yeah,
tell him. It's just.
And that's the thing.
Doing? What are these people doing?
By the way, it's not those persons that bought the game. None of them. Nobody
literally reviews it.
Oh my god!
Like,
quick question for Mahler. Actually, I wanted to make sure I bring this up today. On the topic of race swapping, do you think Corlys Velaryon is there no excuse after that character? The fact that he exists, evidence that it can be done properly. You go ahead.
I imagine that most of the sort of identifiers for a lot of what people think of wrong with any particular piece of media, films or games or whatever, if they only fucking had like loads of writing supporting and understanding and trying to unify the whole project behind it. I don't think anyone would have any much of an issue. I feel like Az kind of crystallized it earlier with the whole like, okay, we've got Alan Wake 2, and there is a black woman as my character straight away. It's like, okay, what have you got for me, video game? Funnily enough, if you played Alan Wake 1, this is something I was talking about on the stream. I don't understand. Like, Sarah Breaker, who's the town sheriff, is a pretty decent female character in the story. Could easily have played as her, and she's been searching for Alan over the 13 years, and she knows the place, she knows the darkness, all this stuff. Instead of playing as this new girl from the FBI instead of the FBC, which is another weird choice. I don't know why he didn't just have it from that. And then, as already highlighted, how awful she's written. There was a couple more notches on the belt for like trying to make this work, and then they just completely fucked it. And Corliss becomes a character that's actually really interesting. And as Gary's talked about in the different streams, his background is fleshed out. You understand where he fits in the world and how it works. Like, so it's all about execution, right?
A race swap that literally benefits the overall story. If you actually like consider,
I think so.
You know what I mean? It's one of the rare examples of like
a lot of people,
it can be done right.
A lot of people assumed it would be stupid because it's like, how could anyone not see it? But like that, the story interweaves that. It's like everyone can see it. Like
Keyword.
That's the point.
Keyword is story. So I just feel like with that character in particular, it's like there's no excuse for the lazy ones. You can do it correctly if you give a fuck. And how many people bitched about Corliss beforehand? How many people bitched about him during it once we saw his performance? He's the one person I wanted to see a spin-off show. House of the Dragon. There was a Dragon. House of the Dragon had a race swap character, and his race swapping made sense and benefited the story. It's possible.
And I will say, basically zero tolerance for in-continuity race swapping, except one glorious example being Tropic Thunder.
That's still one of the best rules of all time.
Yes.
My God.
And see, that's the thing. Never be too quick to say you should never have X thing, because sometimes that was the greatest race swap in movie history. Okay?
Never seen a single black person who was angry about that. It's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Fuck, yeah.
More blackface. Keep going. Jesus Christ.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people?
Yeah. He looks him dead in the eyes, and he's like, "That word has kept us down."
It's so good.
It's so good.
I'm a dude playing another dude disguised as another dude.
And the best part about that movie is he doesn't drop the voice or anything until he does a DVD commentary. And he does the whole commentary and the voice too. It's just,
There's probably so many crazy outtakes. They're probably having so much fun with that character, man.
And then Gen Z tried to cancel Robert Downey Jr. for that too, like idiots.
I'm so proud of like Robert Downey Jr. and Ben Stiller just standing by that, and they say like, we're not gonna apologize for this because it was funny as fuck.
I love Ben Stiller. That guy is so underrated. I don't know why he didn't get his flowers like as much as the rest of them, but I just think he's fucking hilarious. I'm glad. I was so happy to see that he took a stand. Like, no, fuck you guys.
Next one on Super Chats is from Joshua, who says, I'm going to feel bad for the poor soul who happens to catch Dave Filoni having his way with his Ahsoka doll on another set break on the Panderverse movie. Yeah, man, that dude has got... It's like borderline sort of fetish that he has for Ahsoka 100%. Now. It's like, I get that you made this character and you're proud of her, but good lord, man.
I would bet money he's paid like hookers and shit to dress up as Ahsoka. Like anything to like embrace the fantasy for sure. He's probably doing that right now.
He's like, I'm into some crazy stuff. Like, oh yeah, what? And he just brings out these big foam tentacles. Like, put this on your head.
Oh god.
Can you put this off me? No,
gross.
Now you're making me think of that. His cosplay. I was going to say as well, I caught a random tweet from I think it was Star Wars Theory. He was talking about how insane it is that there was like 4 times the budget in She-Hulk than there was in Kenobi, and that's insane. They're going mad. They're losing their mind. And I couldn't help but get a little bit depressed thinking like Kenobi's budget wasn't the problem. It's the fucking writing.
It was the writing.
Yeah. How did if people
little Leia running through the forest and no one can grab her?
It's a joke. It's a joke. Kenobi is the one that's truly an insult. Mando could have been something. Boba Fett's hilarious. Let him go. But Kenobi's like, that's TLJ part 2.
I mean, it's a target-rich environment when it comes to like how much do these shows insult our intelligence and dishonor the characters. Like, man, there's so many to pick from. But yeah, I agree. Like Kenobi was the biggie. Like that was a lot rested on that, and they had. Yeah, they had Ewan McGregor. They had Hayden Christensen coming.
They had Liam Neeson. They didn't even use him.
true bait and switch. Like advertising Hayden Christensen and Kenobi, and like having Reva just being shoved in there and then trying to tell us the baby Leia and Reva story, featuring
I've seen.
you know.
I don't think I've seen
That's
such
literally
a
every
disappointing
Disney thing
rematch
now, though.
since Rocky 2. as well.
That was that was 6 episodes. Imagine we were tasked with writing a 6-episode season that covers like Obi-Wan's regrets and failings over what happened in the prequel trilogy, and building himself up and gaining an understanding of his role with Luke going forward. And you were told you have 6 episodes you can tell that story, and you're like, oh shit. And then they go,
Oof.
also you have to have half of it for Reva. You'd be like, what?
And splashing baby Leia. Like, just where do you even like? And make sure you put Qui-Gon in at the end. Don't forget about Qui-Gon. We have access to him.
There's so many times now, like with all of this,
the chess pieces, they just.
I can explain all of it now. I feel like just by deploying that Cartman quote from South Park.
Yes,
Like,
I was thinking about that as you were saying that.
That's all it comes down to with all of these things. It's like, how many
perfect.
fucking scripts have been ruined because of this ridiculous mandate that you've got to put this shit in?
And that's
Remember
why I keep fighting back against it.
the barrier that you could walk around that he was very worried about how they're going to get past.
I think I lost my will
Oh
to
my
live.
God, that
The
was
fact
so
that
dumb.
the fact that the director made a conscious choice to give us an overhead shot showing us the
I know.
massive
Yeah.
gaps on either side. It's like, are you taking the piss out of your own production here?
Yeah, it's so bad. How do you miss those things? Like, that's the type of thing. Just like a company this big shouldn't be having those type of mistakes. It's just
I
embarrassing.
know.
It just shows that they don't care. It's like the Game of
Okay,
Thrones
yeah.
season 8, the water cup and the water. Like when they were just pure apathy, like they were just like smoking weed on set probably. Like they just didn't care. And Disney just feels like that with every single show, every opportunity. Like, how do you fuck up the return of Ewan McGregor's Kenobi? It's like it does it writes itself, man. It's all
Because
right there
it's
for the
like everything else that they do. The whole point of Obi-Wan Kenobi is not to get people to like enjoy Obi-Wan Kenobi. They just look at something and go, "This has a pre-installed fan base. We're going to use it to push our own
Milking it.
politics like a Trojan horse." So Obi-Wan Kenobi's a show does not exist to have Darth Vader fight Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan
It's a
Kenobi
platform.
exists
It's a
so that
stepping
you
stone,
can
yeah.
meet Reva. It's
Yeah.
the same thing as everything else they do, right? You
Because
watch
they didn't
Mando
even-
season 3.
They showed their hand with Mando season 2. With for all its flaws, Mando season 1 could have actually did something if they fucking remove Baby Yoda and actually give the man a story. But then they just went off in season 2 and said, "Okay, let's set up every fucking thing."
Yeah, you watch Mando season 3.
Guys, no, sorry. You are both horrific people. Reva is one of the best characters ever written by Star Wars. You clearly don't understand the 4D chess that she was playing.
Oh my god!
Because she wanted to get revenge for the Jedi that were slaughtered at the hands of the Empire by slaughtering Jedi
That'll show them.
get closer to the Emperor.
it makes no fucking sense.
Well, you have to
Story
understand,
is broken.
I like the idea. as
when
well
you
that,
start
like,
saying it out loud, it sounds dumber than it actually.
well,
Yeah,
it's like I like the idea that Darth Vader totally knew what she was planning the whole time, but it's like, well, her
yeah.
plan's so
Hold on,
shit
yeah.
that she's actually just doing what I want her to do anyway. So I'm
And
just
what
like,
was
oh,
that
that's
fight
stupid.
that her and Vader had? Not enough people pointed out. Just like that fight was like a fever dream. Reva versus Vader that actually happened. Her spinning around.
I don't even remember that.
I do like though the layers of Big Brain, right? It starts with like who's to blame? It's like all the clones, all the soldiers. Like no, it's Vader. He commanded. No, it's the Emperor. That it's like no, Luke Skywalker, the child on
Yes,
Tatooine.
kill
He's
that
the one
kid.
I have to kill.
Let's not mention Palpatine or anything, but let's just kill some random kid. Like it's so incredibly stupid that you're baffled that they'd even try to get away with it and push her to the forefront. Like because they wanted Reva that bad, we never got anything meaningful with Kenobi and Anakin, other than like some bullshit.
That's everything
the
Disney
end.
does, though. It's just like I think Drinker said it already. How the whole, or might have been as about Shang-Chi, how he's not the main character and how his sister just overshadows him.
Yeah, that's fucked
That's
up.
everything they make now is like that. Everything.
Passenger in their
Stick
own
a
film.
chicken it and makes the
Yeah.
good chicken and make a game.
I think one of the
Yeah.
most interesting ones, though, is it's not just about the gender thing, because Black Widow, thanks to Mahler, is a big part of pointing this out. She was a passenger in her own film too. She didn't have a single quality idea that whole movie. She followed Yelena.
Yeah, that one-
She followed her fucking mom. She followed everyone except her own. Like
Same
her
with
own
the
brain. It's insane.
You might
Ahsoka,
argue
the main
that one's
character.
more of a like vampire capitalist sort of situation where they were like, well, she's on her way out. We got to prop up this new Black
drain
Widow.
her. They
Ah,
yep.
drained, sucked whatever
That's the
blood
only
she
thing
had
that film
left
was there
and
for.
just transferred into Yelena without having any respect for Black Widow. Just this carcass, this husk that they left and banged her nose off a fucking
Dude, it
table.
was so weird too. The timeline. That film takes place. Black Widow takes place inside Civil War.
Why squeeze it in there? And oh god, I'm gonna lose my mind talking about her. But like, just real quickly, the very first scene of that movie when she's talking to Ross, it's all fucked from there. Because if you remember, 2 days before that, like she's trying to be civil and keep the peace, or like 48 hours before that, and now she's just like, oh fuck off, Ross. Like when the man's just trying to do his job, like it's insane. Like she was ruined from the first like 2 minutes of that movie.
It's almost like they didn't have a plan or something,
nothing,
and they're just making things.
Next one's from Whodunit, who says, "So good to see Jedi Brooks. Please bring him on more often. And Mauler, really got to talk more on these streams. We need that smexy voice."
Hey,
he buys his time.
Okay?
He charges his chakra and he makes sure he comes in at the right time.
What does one need to do to become smexy? That's what I want to know.
Shout out to Joshua, the king of the mods. That guy always has my back and he's everywhere. Love that dude.
Absolutely, man.
When we have a set of people much like we have today, I feel it's better to get them to get their perspectives out, right? I only pipe up once one of my favorite pieces of media is threatened, or when someone says, I don't know, something cringe, all right? That's when I'm ready to go.
Prestige was a shit movie, Mauler.
Oh my god, that's it.
Just
I wanted you. I wanted you guys
over.
No, I'll fight you on that too. That's like one of my favorites. I wanted you guys to throw down on Ragnarok. I was ready for that.
Hey, maybe.
I just thought it was an okay game. I didn't think it was amazing.
But you specifically said the story wasn't good, and I know this guy.
Yeah, I don't like how rushed it was. I don't like how rushed.
I was tossing grenades.
What'd you say? I didn't hear. Sorry.
For the record, I know shit tons of people thought Ragnarok was shit, so don't worry. You're not alone on that.
Yeah, it's all good. It's not a big deal.
We'll set up a debate stream separately. It'll be fine.
Oh yeah, debate streams they always go great.
Oh yeah. They're great for changing people's minds as well. The Ghost of Drinker's Liver says, TV suggestion: The Adventures of Briscoe County, Jr., a sci-fi western series from the 90s starring a young Bruce Campbell as an ace bounty hunter. Okay, never heard of that one, but fair play. AG says, I feel like Hollywood listens to Matt Stone and Trey Parker because they're a Tony, Grammy, and Emmy award winners and not Oscar nominee. Well, I mean, yeah, and they're high profile as fuck, so I suppose there's a lot of reasons to listen to them. Mr. Lucas says, Drinker, you watched the boxing at the weekend? Yeah, the Tyson Fury fight.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. And God is my hero. And
the other dude was robbed, man. Absolutely.
Can I just
robbed.
throw this in real quick? Because if any fight fans here, okay. Mixed martial arts, former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou, a man who's went through the most ridiculous backstory ever. On last Saturday, fucking got robbed of a victory over the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world. This man went in with 0 professional fights and beat someone who's been boxing his entire life, disgraced him, and they robbed him. He did what he did. I gave him a 2% chance to do that. 2%, legitimately. It was incredible.
Could you imagine if that had been UFC rules as well? Because Tyson was down.
Absolutely pound his face in.
You would have grounded and pounded him, and that's just
It exposed the sport of boxing and the fact that everyone could see who won the fight. But you have your stupid little rules to make it sure that, like, you know what I mean? Like, Tyson won the boxing match, and those rules are flawed. Ngannou won the fight. He's like the people's champ right now. What he did was like one of the most incredible combat sports accomplishments ever. I just gotta throw that in real quick.
Problem with Tyson as well, he's kind of in later stage career mode 35. As well, and like he's flipping and flopping about retiring. Like he's out for a while, and then he gains a ton of weight, and then he decides he's going to come back, and like, you know,
he's ruining his legacy.
A little bit, yeah. And taking on gimmick fights like this are just bad news for you, because like nobody would expect him to lose something like that. So there's no real like prestige in beating the guy. But then if he does happen to like get knocked down, it's a total embarrassment.
Exactly. You're facing someone you're supposed to beat. Everyone's expecting you to just dominate. You go in and you ruin your legacy, your life's work in one night. Nobody will ever take him seriously again. It's the most ridiculous humbling I've ever seen for an athlete, at least in recent years.
Penti Pistuli says, Robert of House Cinema is filled with precious goo.
Oh man, yeah. I guess the one thing we didn't necessarily talk about is how the Disnoid's doing over all this news, and it's like not well to the point.
they're on
where,
life support.
Are they
yeah,
coping?
someone
on life
was talking
support.
to Movie Robert on Twitter, telling him that Disney's bleeding, and he told them they don't deserve to breathe as a result of having that
Oh
opinion.
yeah, I saw that.
That's a normal reaction to have.
And
For a
then
movie, Bob. Yeah.
I highlighted it, and he blocked me and said all I ever tried to do to this thing was teach it to be better, referring to me. It's to morally
he's a man.
grandstand on top of someone you just said shouldn't breathe because they said Disney's in financial trouble. What the hell?
He is legit a Marvel villain now, but like
Yeah.
not a good one. Like he's one from a shitty Disney Plus TV show
Like
where
Kang,
nothing he
yeah.
says makes sense.
Kang's here. Just the audacity and the confidence of that man. Like that guy, he's committed. He really thinks he's like genius,
He
and everyone
should
else
be
is
committed.
wrong. It's just, yeah, you're right. I don't know. He's one of the few people who I genuinely think is as terrible as he looks. Like from all.
I think so. Like, there's a lot of people out there who are just kind of goofy, and it's like, okay, maybe they're just awkward or they say stupid things. But like, I think he's one of those few people. It's like, yeah, I think he's just genuinely a bad human being.
Yeah, there's too many things that have came up over the years where it just
the Lindsay Ellis thing was just pure fucking gold, man. It's just like I've fucking soft blocked you like 6 times and you just keep refollowing me. Like, fuck off, you weirdo! Stop stalking me,
creeper.
The next one is Piston, who says if the leaks of the Marvels are true, that means the Khan family gets eaten by cats to save their lives. This will give a new meaning to eating pussy.
Well, the pussy eats you.
Yeah,
Pussies, yeah. They're eaten by pussy.
the whole family's going to get eaten, is it?
Yeah, those cats that can like have giant they love those things. As we pointed out, they're trying to market the film with just cats now.
Why? What does that have to do with Marvel?
Well, they're not going to use their main stars. are they?
Everything.
Oh, so a random feline is more
That's how
marketable
bad
than
you know
Brie
it is,
Larson. Is that
Well,
like what she's come to? You touched
But
on
don't
this
you-
earlier of her like she just kind of redeemed herself, or she's learned. Like,
No, she's
that-
not
no, no, no,
redeemed
I didn't
herself.
say that. I didn't
Or no,
Somebody-
sorry, wrong term. Definitely not redeemed herself, but we've all get that feeling that like she's learned from those mistakes and like she realizes that was like she's at least kept her mouth shut in recent years. That's what a lot of people.
She hasn't learned
It's the it's the eternal question. It's like, has she gotten better, or have we just found people who are worse?
Oh man,
We found people who are worse.
Yeah,
100%.
the latter, I'm afraid.
I think it's clear she's shutting the fuck up.
Yeah.
She saw the results of speaking, and she was like, "Right, I'll just stand still." And I mean, she's still awkward as hell. I think if enough people were asking her more questions, we probably get some other gold quotes out of her. But I would hope a lot of them would go all kinds of directions. I would hope. I think me and Drinker talked about this in one of the catch-ups. Having her in an interview, like a one-on-one, I'd be curious if you can get something out of her that would be like actually really interesting and sort of give off a sense of integrity, like maybe there is mishandling over at Disney. Like that's probably the most that you'd ever get out of the current actors, you know?
She can fix her reputation tenfold with one truly honest interview. Like the Marvels is gonna die no matter what that movie's doing. But
she'll never do it.
Well,
I think obviously the problem right now is that she can't give any interviews because they're all on strike, and so she can't do any promo stuff. It would be interesting to see what she says in reaction to the movie flopping, I guess.
Yeah.
Eventually the actors will go back to work, and
She needs to do
They can't keep doing that.
She needs to do a movie where she just gets the tits out.
This is the movie where they need to just be like, you know what? No, it's not men's fault. It's not trolls. It's not this. We fucked up.
I'd
The
watch
movie
that.
shit. They need to just admit it.
I would
This
watch
needs
that.
to be the one.
There was a great couple of images. I think it was Variety who did it, or Deadline, where it was like the Charlie's Angels movie. It's like, men, this movie isn't for you. And then literally the same publication and the same author, like a month later, saying, why didn't any men go and watch this movie?
That's one of the best things that's ever happened on the internet. Like seriously, that's just golden. I love that exists.
It's because they keep pandering to the modern audience, but the modern audience doesn't exist. So they're making a movie for nobody.
Yeah, I think it's
what happens.
probably already happening for Brie Larson and conversations with the agent of exit strategy for the MCU at this point.
Just kill her in Secret Wars.
Yeah,
I could buy.
I'd be out if I could.
I could buy the negotiating, like, you know, get it in paper, whatever I have to do in Secret Wars or whatever the fuck Avengers movie. But I'm moving on because this is a bad idea.
then she can leave on somewhat of a high note, but not really, but kind of, I guess.
She's
Like
had
something.
what, like 4 or 5 years of cameos instead of all the other
She's
opportunities
had
she
nothing.
had.
Yeah, it's almost like a fake career in the MCU.
Yeah. Was she really in the no? Hemsworth was in the MCU. Robert Downey Jr., Evans, they were MCU characters established all the way through.
See,
she
my
was just
theory
sprinkled in
originally,
there throughout. It's
I
kinda
thought
ridiculous.
Thor was going to be the next like Iron Man level death. Like he was going to die in Secret Wars, but
They should have killed him off.
I don't think they're going to do it now. I think you kill off Captain Marvel.
I'd rather him die of a stroke
Band-Aid
off
off.
screen than have seen Thor: Love of Thunder.
Does
That's
Hemsworth
terrible.
even want to come back? I thought he was pretty.
I
don't
think
know.
It'll be like the right writer and director speaking to him and saying,
Yeah.
"Listen, okay,
He'll
They
come back
are
to the
pull
right
that out of the
approach,
movie.
I
Okay, it
think.
was terrible.
Yeah,
We're gonna make-
I believe they're trying to find somebody for Thor 5. But then he also has that whole thing going on with his he has that disease
Extraction.
in his gene pool. Some story about that. Remember about that? Something about Alzheimer's in his
Well,
family.
that won't hit him for a
He-
long
he-
time, though, right?
Yeah, he took a break from it. I don't know, but I think Thor would be a good Iron Man level death, but at this point, I don't think it's going to happen. I would just end Secret Wars. Captain Marvel dies, reboot everything,
I
start
wouldn't
over.
care.
I know you
Still
wouldn't care.
I
No one would
still
care. Yeah,
Nobody
but-
cares.
It's not as simple as a
it's-
reset.
It's gone. A reset's going to do nothing because a reset can't change a mentality, and it's the mentality that
Yeah.
needs to change there.
Exactly, it's
So
poison.
you can get rid of all of these fucking useless characters, bring in new characters, but if you don't have the change in attitude, then it's going to fail exactly like it's going to as it's failing right now.
Yeah.
It's not a reboot that's required. It's a change in complete and utter attitude,
Mhm.
and I
then
don't see
all
that
you
happening
can hope
there.
for is Perlmutter buys Disney somehow. You can do it. Or
Paramount.
they sell it to Apple, but that probably won't fix anything either. So we're
I
kind of
did like-
screwed no matter what we do.
I did like this one. Thor finally finds himself and then
Yeah.
dies.
Instantly, directly after. I recently rewatched all the Thor movies for a script that I'm writing, and like I became a Thor fan throughout the process because I always thought Chris Hemsworth was a really charming actor. Thor was always okay to me, but like really taking a look at his whole story, Thor 1 is actually not that bad. My whole point is they understood how to utilize him throughout the early films, like how to use his comedic timing and like have respect for the character, and then he just slowly became a fucking joke. Like the fat Thor thing was like one of the worst things they could have possibly done. I think that's
Peak Thor was Infinity
Still
War
bitching about that.
for me.
Yeah, that was big Thor.
Should have got punished Thor. They had it all set up right there. I swear
Yeah.
we were talking about
If
this the last time.
if
I
they
was
just
on, but
reverted
yeah.
him back to Infinity War Thor and made a movie with that version of Thor, that'd be amazing. Like if you had that Thor who was all beaten and destroyed, and he was fighting Gore the God Butcher, that would have been sick. But no, instead it was a romantic comedy.
The guilt he should have carried from being the one person with the actual power to stop Thanos and not being able to do it in time. He should have felt responsible for the snap. He should feel responsible for trying to redeem the Avengers in this situation. There's so much like creative juice to go with Thor. There's so much to utilize, and they just
No,
pissed it all
instead
away.
you got Lady Thor in a romantic comedy movie, and it was terrible.
Dr. James.
You got Thor
Foster.
doing the splits while he's screaming.
yeah, against Muppets.
Two goats that just kept screaming throughout the entire movie.
That's
Yeah.
what Taika Waititi does when he's unleashed. Lover of Green says, "Hail Endymion, did you hear that Side Scrollers podcast got demonetized? They exposed Sweet Baby Inc., a consulting firm which pushed for the message in many AAA games. You and the Fellowship should look into it." Yeah, well,
The whole channel got demonetized.
I think so. Yeah,
Or just the
Holy
stream.
shit!
Oh
'Cause
man.
I'm not
You
sure.
guys should look in. Let me write that down. That's crazy.
But obviously, it was the same company that Az mentioned earlier. So
Yeah.
That's scary. Side scrollers.
Jedi Onlooker says, "When are we getting the Loki season 2 faps?" Also, hi Mubler.
They are being worked on by Fringy. I think one is complete. Obviously, I'm trying to give them a bit of time for spacing it out because we just did 10 fat movies for Halloween. So they're on the way.
Oh yeah.
Finn Sane says, "Hi Drinker, there's a word in Finnish that I think would be a fine addition to your vocabulary. Kalsarikani. It means getting drunk alone while wearing nothing but underpants."
Oh,
Hi Muller.
Hi, Mola. Hi.
How do you go
That's
for
a great
that,
way to
Muller?
finish that one. Bogdan Anichescu says, "What's your favorite Tom and Jerry episode or moment? For me, it's the cat concerto when Tom plays the piano and that bastard Jerry won't leave him alone." I don't know. Tom and Jerry's a little bit before my time, I'm afraid. I was into Thundercats when I was a kid, man. What can I say?
Oh, I love Thundercats, man.
Ah, yes.
Beast Wars, Gargoyles. Are they actually making a Gargoyles live action? You guys hear about that?
That's gonna be shit.
I can't even remember where it was. I think it was either a super chat or a comment I made, but that was my pick for if I can pick one thing to be adapted from like my childhood and do it properly, it'd be Gargoyles. X-Men and Gargoyles, man. I know they won't. I'm just praying. You know, that would have been my pick, but they're gonna fuck it up.
I'm too cynical to think that Disney will do anything justice anymore. So no.
The default position should be it'll probably be shit. I like that Joshua's giving us some advice here. Put a chick in this stream and make it gay as fuck. Better be. Don Blackbird says, Muller, what are your thoughts on non-BB characters? Lalo, Kim, Howard, Chuck, and Nacho. Also, will you convince Drinker to watch Better Call Saul? Because I'm sure he still hasn't. Drinker, watch it.
Oh, Better Call Saul, right? Yeah. No, there's plenty of great character stuff in Better Call Saul. Worth seeing, of course. Obviously, the dynamics between Saul and his brother, the dynamics between Saul and Kim Wexler, and I don't know if they're asking me who my favorites are or what I just think of them in general. It's really strong work for a lot of them. Mike is probably some of the work that gets done for him I really like, especially as support information before you see Breaking Bad. In fact, in retrospect, it really feels like the actor got his way into getting like way more stories because of the fact that he was so awesome as Mike Ehrmantraut.
Yeah, he was flawless.
The fucking first few episodes he's in Breaking Bad, he's like a handyman that doesn't get many lines. But by the time you hit the end of Better Call Saul, he's just like fucking main dude who's getting shit tons of screen time. And that's great because he's awesome as him.
Mike is one of the few characters like I references like he's just perfect. Every single scene, every line, just I don't have a single complaint with that guy.
I think he had the most epic, well, not the most epic, but like just the best death in the whole series as well.
Rant,
just going out.
That rant. Oh my God. And your jealousy and your pride.
Yeah.
He just goes off and digs into him. And he just, every word you can just see cutting into his, you know, it's so perfect. Perfect scene.
I love as well, like, they have the shootout and like Walter finds him just down by the lake side. Yeah. And he tries to like apologize to him, and Mike just goes, "Shut up! Shut the fuck up, Walter! Let me die in peace."
Shut the fuck.
It's so good, man. It's so good. Yeah, and even I could talk about that scene for like an hour, but go ahead.
Big Dave K says, "Just visited Ireland. I did a tour bus, but I've got to say the other side of the road be damned. I'm renting a car next time I visit Ireland or Scotland. That's probably a good choice. You'll see a lot more." Casey Boyd says, Phantom Menace is a bit of paradox to me because Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Darth Maul are pretty well liked. Darth Maul especially. What went wrong?
What do you mean?
You can have cool characters in a shit movie.
I don't know if anyone's going to disagree with this, but like Darth Maul in Phantom Menace alone is one of the thinnest characters in existence.
Yeah,
but he's cool.
He looks cool. That's it.
But he looks cool. But I'd say one of the deciding factors for what made him so popular with fans was the fact that he mattered in the story. His fight, he was really good at his job, and he killed a Jedi.
Yeah. And there was enough there for us to like want to know more. You don't have to have a completely fleshed out character, but if you can make them interesting and make it so we want to learn more about them, that's it. That's what Darth Maul had.
He probably sold a lot of toys.
Did you want to know more about Revo?
Like a couple times, like lightsaber battles used to mean something.
I know too much.
Used to mean something. Enemy characters used to matter.
I remember watching Phantom Menace thinking like, man, this Darth Maul fight, if this is the new standard for lightsaber fights, this is going to be fantastic. And we've never had anything since, like even remotely close.
I remember one of my videos, I talked about Star Wars, like even like Phantom Menace, like around that time, the toy sales back then was like,
I had a Darth Maul
higher than if you took everything that Disney Star Wars has owned Star Wars for however long that's been, all the toys they sold sale wise, all of that doesn't compare money wise to a single year of Star Wars during the original trilogy.
There's no denying the prequels were a boon to Star Wars' sort of like cultural impact. Like they didn't destroy it. A lot of people would tell you they did, but they didn't.
No. The merchandise it revamped. It got a whole new generation of people interested in Star Wars. What Disney failed to do. They got me. They got like, you know what I mean? Like I remember the hype in my neighborhood. Like, oh my God, there's a new Star Wars movie coming out. Everyone recreating the lightsaber battles. It was an event, and it's just not anymore. That's the saddest part.
Well, yeah. Now when you hear it, it's like, oh, there's a new Star Wars show coming out on Disney Plus. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, it's no longer an event.
I just think, oh great, more homework.
Yeah. It's become
something I need to watch and I don't want to.
Casey Boyd's got a question here. I'm having trouble with plot versus story. Story seems to be the larger category, but they seem to be similar. If a story is a revenge story, is that not also the plot? Is there a good story with a bad plot or a bad plot with a good story? Help me. So I guess you seem to be talking about concept rather than story.
Yeah.
And like you can have a great concept, but the execution is your plot. And if the execution sucks, then you haven't got ultimately a good book or a good script. And that's what it's going to come in, is the detail.
The umbrella term for I usually categorize down into plot, character, theme, world. They're the four main ones that I try and sort everything into, and that story captures all of them put together, sort of thing. Like if I describe to you Boromir's journey in Fellowship, and then someone said, "Okay, but what about the story?" I'd be like, "Well, no, that's a part of it. That is, that's a thread of the story right there. That's a character journey. That's in the story. It's not the whole story, and it's not the story, but it is the story." So, I mean, it can get complicated, so I can understand the confusion, maybe.
And that's part of the reason it's fun with script writing and like the reviews that we all do. It's like you're forced to think about these things, splitting it all up, like plot, character, world building, themes, what they actually are, and what was achieved. Like you guys know my feelings about Midsummer. I can't stand people defending that movie because of like themes and like symbolism and whatnot. But what about the story? The story's fucking broken and completely stupid. Like
they're stupid on purpose. They took drugs.
Oh my god, it's so ridiculous, man. It's just.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one on that one.
You say Midsommar?
Midsummer is one of my most hated movies.
You know what? I took the heat on Midsummer, like right off the bat, right? And Mauer, you took the heat for making fun of people crying in like.
Wait, hang on! I
won a Mando.
Midsummer. That was the point. I never said anything about it.
Starfield.
They're bawling their eyes out.
What I was going to say.
Well, As Your Rant was legendary, man. Let me throw that
I caught it on Netflix, and I was like, I half expect I'm going to watch this and then be like, oh no, I actually like it. But I told Drink like,
I remember. I was there when you're like, oh, and you were telling him. I was like, time stop. Like, you fucker, you better not like screw this up. Like, don't even. Fuck you. No, that movie's trash. I've gone through with a fine-tooth comb. It's trash.
Well, I mean, the main thing that put me off, it was just I couldn't get into the characters. They were all kind of idiots. Some of them were there just to die, which you'd be like, well, what's wrong with that necessarily? It's like, not necessarily. They're just boring at that point.
Don't even, let me just move on. I'm going to lose my mind talking about that movie.
Start a whole other tangent of a stream.
Let
the man read his
themes.
Yeah.
Social Morlock says, put the drinker in it and keep him straight. Well, thank you. And Tibio4 says, Mauler, what were your 3 favorite boss fights from Sekiro?
Oh, that's not fair because like all the bosses are good, but if not great. The final boss is pretty damn awesome. I really like both of the owl fights, so they would be top tier. That's already technically 3. I would end up just listing all of the fights in the game. Even the ape one where he tears off his own head and uses it like as a weapon. It's fucking
Headless
cool.
Ape, Sword Saint, Ishin, Ginichiro. Sorry, my dogs are screaming. That's why I'm muted.
Yeah, that's another one. He's what he said too. The game's really fucking good.
So for context, like you can tear off your own head and use it as a weapon to beat people with.
Have you never done that?
I've platinumed every single From Software game,
but I've never done that before.
You said you've had absinthe. You must have done it.
I had to put it back on afterwards.
Absinthe is poison.
I believe I did that stuff, but I've got no medical
Makes
evidence.
the heart grow fonder.
Drake, have you ever had Ray and Nephews?
What, sorry?
Ray and Nephews liquor?
I don't think so. No, I don't know if we get that here.
It's like Guyanese rum, I'm pretty sure. But that's like, when I think of like top tier, like kill you in 2 shots, like look into that. I'm curious since I know you. Ray and Nephews.
Try. Is it like one of those ones that's like cask strength, so it's like 55% or some shit like that?
It's like you can drink almost any rum and you're usually fine. Rum's always got to be a good mix for me. It's like the one rum where I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? Like this is just a bit too strong.
I say, what are you all about, rum?
Just remember the name Ray and Nephews, and someone will educate you on it more than I am for sure. That shit'll fuck you up.
I'll do one more here from Mega Spidey Man, who says, "Hello to the panel. If you had to choose one, which movie Catwoman actress would you spend the night with?"
Pfeiffer.
And Hathaway.
Zoe.
Halle Berry.
Zoe complicates things. Oh yeah. Oh, Prime Halle.
To clarify, Is it
Prime
the
Halle, yeah,
actress?
when she was
Not the
Catwoman.
character, right? The actress.
Yeah.
And Hathaway.
I'd probably go with Halle Berry.
Yeah, Prime Halle is hard to top.
Michelle Pfeiffer is pretty top tier, but yeah, Halle edges it
I
there.
think I'm with I'm thinking with the consensus on that one actually. Yeah.
If you've seen Monsters Ball, it's hard to ever.
Yeah.
As I watched that, I watched that with my fucking mom, and I'm just like,
Uh-oh.
bro,
That was an awkward scene.
It felt like
Okay, yeah.
30 minutes of watching Halle Berry get. You're watching porn with your mom for half an hour. Is what it felt like, because the scene just kept going. Like it's not over. It's not over. Okay, they're
really
fucking,
did,
aren't
yeah.
They
I remember
couldn't
watching
believe that shit.
Swordfish alone, thinking it was a cool hacker movie with Hugh Jackman. Then suddenly I was like, "Wow, okay."
She got paid an extra $300,000 for that, like 5 seconds of screen time.
Yeah, they asked her to
Worth
do
every
it,
penny.
didn't they?
Worth
They
every
asked her to
penny.
do it, and then she's like, and then she spoke to her agent, and their agent's like, ask for more money. So they went back and went, okay, but I need this much more money. And I went, okay, so there you go. It's like, that's how you do it. There you go, negotiating your worth there.
Yeah.
My titties are worth $300,000 or whatever it was.
Is that each or like a
Yeah, imagine they came back. I will pay you 150K just for one.
How much is it? How much for the left one? What's the left?
Yeah.
150 for the left.
Mega Spidey Man also asked us, what's our favorite Alfred Pennyworth? Out of all of them.
Oh, that's
Oh,
Michael Caine for
Batman
me.
the animated series.
I got
You
a
were
hot
talking
take.
movie?
Circus. I think Circus was actually like so underrated in the Batman.
If you're talking any movie, because Mask of the Phantasm is a Batman movie. We'd
Can I do the
definitely
layman and say I love them all? There's not one I've ever seen that I've been like, oh, that didn't work. Or bad.
Did you like Jeremy Irons one?
He
Yes.
was good too. He was
I
good too.
really liked him as Alfred. He was like one of the best things in the movie.
Wow.
Yeah, Ray Nephews is Jamaican rum, not Guyanese. Sorry. All right.
I like that Jeremy
Strong
Irons
as fuck.
Alfred was like a bit like the critical of Bruce in those
Yeah.
films.
He could have
just-
did
I
more
don't-
if they had their own movie.
I feel, yeah, if he'd had a bit more screen time and they gave him more to do, I think I would have perhaps warmed to him. As it was, he just felt like a bit flat and derivative. Like he just, yeah, he wasn't.
I think
really
my least
enough.
favorite Alfred, probably not very popular to say. I think the Matt Reeves Alfred, I didn't really like it very much. Didn't feel like they
Oh,
had
that'd be
much of a
Circus then.
connection.
My
just me,
big
though.
issue with Andy Serkis's one is that we didn't see enough of him.
Yeah, we need.
Yeah, I
more.
just feel like
I-
they didn't have that connection.
There aren't me in him as well. Like every fucking successive Alfred just gets younger and younger. Now you've got
Yeah.
like Andy Serkis's one, who's like, I don't know, probably like 50 or something, if that.
Ephraim
I just-
Zimbalist Jr. though, he's the best.
For me, it's Christian Bale with Michael Caine. Like for me, that's just I don't know. I love that combo.
I love them,
And-
and yeah, that and the Prestige. I like seeing them.
Yeah.
like, transition over that. It's crazy.
And for me, like Batman Begins
Wolverine.
is still my favorite superhero movie.
thank
know,
you.
like,
So many people
you-
don't admit that. Hey, let me hot take for you, chat.
Wait,
we
what
just
film?
piss a bunch of people off right
Yeah.
now.
What is it?
Batman Begins is better than The Dark Knight. Boom. That's it. That's it.
For
Go
me,
rewatch it.
it's Batman Begins is my favorite superhero
Go
movie
rewatch
simply
it.
because of just like the themes of the movie and how it was presented. So for me, no superhero movie has really topped it. And I know that's an unpopular opinion for some people. It's fine.
The
You don't
entire,
think that
the
way,
entire
but I
point
love
of
that movie.
Batman, the entire point of Batman that they showed was like it's supposed to be a concept. You're supposed to be more than just a man in the mind of your opponent, and they accomplished that in the first movie where he's literally like a.
And
ghost.
it has my
made him
favorite
terrifying.
Batman villain. So Ra's al Ghul's my favorite Batman villain. So
Yeah.
that movie for me is like
Now,
peak. I love
chat.
it.
Remember, they're guests in this house. Okay, be nice.
Him
Yeah.
fighting in the street
Yeah, if
in broad daylight.
if
against
people
Bane,
are not
that
okay
should
with it,
never
I
happen.
understand. It's fine.
you should never.
I will down that hill though.
You should never have Batman fighting in broad daylight in the middle. Of the
Never.
street.
But I will say this: Alfred in live action has never been done correctly. I will say
Hmm,
that.
Interesting.
And on that
I like Michael
bombshell,
Mhm.
well, I think because I know as you're kind of out of time here, and it's probably a good time to finish up the stream anyway, because I think we've been at it for about 3 hours. So
I got to go edit
We're
still.
bringing up new topics as we go too. So let's
I
get
know, yeah, like, we're about to go off on a whole other
Batman.
arc about Batman.
Let's go.
But yeah, I want to say thanks to you guys for coming on for this tonight. It's
Yeah.
been great to have all of you on as guests, as always. Appreciate your time. And for everyone who's joined us in chat, thank you for the very generous super chats as always. To our new channel members who've joined up, appreciate you guys. It's great to see it. And thank you to the mods for keeping things ticking over. And as we always do, Muller and I will catch up on any super chats that we've missed on Sunday night, probably. So,
yes, sir.
For now, at least, that's all we've got for today. So go away now.
Bye.
Bye, Blobo.
Peace.